What
What's
is
up, guys?
up?
What's going on, y'all? What is going on? Mac, cheers.
Hey, cheers. Thanks everyone for I'm sorry we're late. And we just got called Timu T 21090 hack
Well,
from
that's not
JG.
a new name. That's not a new name. We've been called that for a while. So
Well, cheers everybody. It's good to see y'all. Hack, you're in a different spot right now.
I am not in the home domicile. I am in the panhandle of Texas. I'm in the town that I grew up in, Pampa, Texas. It's about 60 miles east of Amarillo, Texas. And not to start the show on a down or anything, but we've got some family things we've got to take care of. My wife's aunt passed away last year, and the house was something that was her responsibility. So we came down here, and we've been cleaning out the house all day. We made a lot of progress today, but just something we kind of had to do on the fly to take care of it. If you've gotten a little older like me, you know that these things happen where you've got to take care of things, and so I'm not in the home base. So,
Yeah.
but if the sound is off, the video's off, then I'll go in the background because Mac is killing it with his video tonight.
Well, let's knock on wood, man. We'll see. But yeah, well, I'm glad you're here, Hack, and joining us. And it's been a crazy couple whiskey weeks for us, and we've even got a crazier thing because we've got an awesome guest tonight.
We do. And I know normally, guys, we check in the chat, we check in with you, but he's already here, our guest, and he's ready to roll. And we don't want to keep him waiting because, look, we don't normally have this important whiskey dudes on this channel.
I know, right? Yeah. So I think without further ado, and we've got a lot of people already here in the chat. Cheers, all. It's maybe later on in the chat we'll go in, but we also want you guys to ask some questions too. So keep jumping in there in the chat. Cheers, everyone. They're also saying they like the quilted.
The quilted hat is fire, baby. The quilted hat is so fire.
And this,
the quilted jacket, like
it's like Louisville knew that,
there are no more quilted products in all of Louisville at this point. Like you bought them all.
It is.
You bought all the quilted products.
I need quilted pants, but anyway, we'll get to that.
But yeah, before we bring David up, just real quick, I want to tell you guys, like, this is a really cool thing for us, in that David Jennings, Rare Bird 101, obviously all things wild turkey, but also this guy is now making his own whiskey. And so tonight we're going to get into Caleb's Crossing, and we're going to start there. I promise turkey heads, I promise turkey fans, we will get some turkey questions in there, and I promise you we'll get to it, but we really want to focus on Caleb's Crossing, but we don't want to keep the man waiting, and we're not going to do a long intro tonight. No announcements, but except one, Mac, and that is just before the man, the myth, the legend comes up, I'm gonna put the ticker up, Mac, if I can.
Yep.
Actually, you may have to do it.
Oh, Mac. You got it.
Oh, is it working? There we go. Okay, so tonight, guys, the giveaway. Every $5 super chat goes in a drawing to win a Russell's Reserve Private Select from Camp Nelson E. So that's super exciting. And Mac may not know this yet, but we're also going to do 2 sample packs, one from me, one from Mac. All the Caleb's Crossing I've got.
Yeah.
All the Caleb's Crossing Mac has. And every Rare Bird pick that we have, we're going to throw it in some sample packs and send out to you guys.
Those are bangers, man.
And I'm drinking one right now. This is an Eagle Rare 10 from none other than David Jennings and Rare Bird, and it is fantastic. And so I'm kicking off the night with this, Mac. What are you kicking the night off with?
I'm sipping on some LLME Russell's 10. I thought we'll start at low proof, and
there you go.
Yeah, but hey, let's bring David on.
Let's get him up.
There he is.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, David. Thanks for.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
can.
Great.
I'm not hearing myself all that great, but as long as I've got a good signal, that's what matters. So.
Well, you sure look good, David. I mean, you've got the best hair in whiskey, my friend. You really do.
True. That's true. Struggle.
It's all one piece. If I take it off, I'm just good. It's like it's Lego hair.
You got Lego hair? That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you sipping on, David?
Well, first of all, I'm sipping it out of Marty's Gold Glencairn,
the mighty Gold Glen.
Yeah. And so what I'm sipping is this 11, almost 12-year Camp Nelson A pick from the Sugar House in Detroit. This is It's called Golden Dagger. And they did 2 of these. One was a Russell's pick, one was a Kentucky Spirit. And I actually liked the Kentucky Spirit a little bit more. I can't remember what that one was called. Silver Sword or something. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look it up. But it was like a theme. And this is a Golden Dagger. This is awesome, by the way.
You said 11 years?
Yeah. 11. It was a distilled, in 2009, like a lot of those, older CNFs were, but this is a CNA. 4th floor. It was pulled for the barrel program in 2019, but it wasn't bottled until December 2021. So this is one of those kind of COVID era picks. I mean, a lot of those picks during that time either weren't picked up or got thrown back into the program for various reasons. So you saw a lot of Camp Nelson Fs. You saw some Camp Nelson As, and even fewer Camp Nelson Ds. But there were 10, 11, 12 year, even 13 year CNFs. So really cool to have this. I reviewed it on my blog, so if anybody wants to know how good it is, it's pretty awesome. It's on rarebird101.com.
Awesome. And guys, just so you know, tonight we use something called the Nightbot. He's become a friend of ours. He'll show up in the chat tonight, and there's a couple of links you'll see tonight. There's going to be one link that'll take you to Caleb's Crossing, and we're going to get into that, and we're going to talk all about it. And then there'll be another link tonight that'll take you to Rare Bird's Patreon, so you can go there and see what's going on over there. And it's just so David.
Very kind.
First of all, Mac and I both are loyal Patreon members. Yep. Mac's been there longer, but I'm higher. Yes. I'm higher in the
because I didn't have a higher tier when I joined. I would be higher, David, if I could.
Guys, I really appreciate just any support. It's a fun group. I love hanging out with everybody. Pretty much do that every night on Discord. So thank you. Really appreciate it.
So of all the whiskey Discords I'm in that are Patreon led and that, you are so active and you're so responsive. And
thank you.
It means a lot because I think, and I'm sure you get tired of all the questions. What year, like when Max says Dusty Turkey and says, what year did this come from?
I don't ever get tired talking shop. Especially if folks try an attempt, like if they make an attempt at a bottle code and they're just having trouble with it or whatever, I help them out. Another problem a lot of folks seem to have is finding the code. I get a lot of questions where people are looking on the underside and see a little number there, and that number, and I'm not talking about the embossed numbers that you find. I'm talking about little laser etch numbers, and those have nothing to do with the fill date. That's some type of manufacturer's code. What you want to do is if it's bottled 2006 or later for Wild Turkey, it's going to be on the side of the bottom side of the glass, and it helps if you have a flashlight, because then you can pick up the digits a little bit better.
And I went and did some research this week, and it's so hard not to get right into the turkey talk because it's just like,
let's do it.
But so one of the things you talked about early on, right? And I think this will set this up from where I want to go. The name of the show, we did Critic to Creator, and you started actually, at least you said on a podcast a while back, that you said that you actually started in that Reddit world. Like you wrote a lot of Reddits, a lot of reviews. And our very first barrel pick that we're so excited about, we just did with Jay West, who our bourbon, he spun that into his thing.
Yep.
Now here you are, you did all these reviews, you were helping people find codes, all this kind of stuff. So now you've gone from Critic to now you're creating your own whiskey, and what an incredible journey. And I know you've been doing this a lot longer than us. I mean, we're a brand new channel, and again, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Everybody starts somewhere, and it seems like yesterday. And Jay and I talk a lot just because we knew each other from back in 2015 Reddit days and stuff like that. Scotch Swap. It was a real hopping place for a while there, and it still is. It was just a different atmosphere at the time because you could do more on Reddit. This was back before they were acquired, and so it was a little bit more like Discord is now when we started. I just dove in, started writing reviews, and I was horrible at it at first. I mean, it's just, it's like anything else. It's like riding a bike or learning how to play guitar or whatever. You're just not going to start off kicking ass. You're just not, you know. And
we certainly did, and we're still not. So.
Well, everybody's learning. If you're not still learning and figuring stuff out, you're done, you know. So the way I look at it is, whenever I reach a point where I feel like I'm satisfied with my progress in a certain area, I usually veer off in another direction and get my ass kicked there for a little while. But it's been a fun journey. And when I started, blogs were the big thing. I mean, there were a small number of YouTube whiskey channels. You know, Ralphie has been around probably since Moses, and you know but outside of Ralphie, I mean, there really weren't that many that were big. And a lot of the ones I can think of off the top of my head aren't even around anymore. But blogs were the big deal. And then podcasts kind of came behind that. And you have folks like Bourbon Pursuit that kind of took it to another level, and look at them now. Speaking of critics to creators, there you go. There's another one, you know?
Yeah.
And, but you know, it's just I like to explore new things, and you know, it's not like I abandon old things, but I do kind of shift my focus from time to time. You know, written a couple of books, and so it's always changing, but it's still just as fun and exciting of a community. Thank you, as it is now as it was back then. So. It's just different, you know, things are different, and you just kind of have to roll with it. You know, all this stuff, short form media like Reels and TikToks and this kind of stuff. None of that stuff was around when we got started. I mean, it just wasn't even a thing. It was all long form video content, if it was video content at all. And now you're seeing kind of a lot of folks pushing that short form kind of thing, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm not real comfortable with video myself. Part of it is because I don't want to have to spend time learning the technical aspect of it. I did that years ago with music, and there's a lot to learn if you want to do something right. And I have a lot of respect for you guys and a lot of the other folks that put out high quality content, because I don't think people understand how many hours goes into that. Like, just learning the software, you know, their algorithm, editing is a whole nother beast. I mean, there's a lot there, and that's just not my preferred format. I don't mind being on YouTube things. I don't mind doing podcasts as a guest, but it's just one of those media types that just hasn't really drawn me as a creator. And so I continue to just write. And that's where I started. I jumped in with some reviews, and slowly over time kind of feel like I got a little bit better with that, and just grew from there.
Yeah.
But
and I think, you know, like for us, right, this is in our journey, you know, we had Kenny on a few weeks ago. We've had you on. We've got coming up, Jay is going to join us. We've got Ian Sturzman. So like all of these whiskey dreams for us of people that we wanted to meet. One of the really cool things I think about the whiskey community is two dudes that just came from nowhere can start up a YouTube and have access to people that are way more experienced and more intelligent. But we learn so much from doing this show. And so what I want to do tonight too is kind of help people learn a little bit. And one of the things I want them to learn about is Caleb's Crossing. I know normally, you know, people, when they do these podcasts or interviews with you, they want the whole turkey interview and all that, and we may get into that, but
sure.
For us,
I've got a couple turkey questions too.
We definitely want to get to that, but I really want to stick, like, here in the beginning. I want to get to this Caleb's Crossing thing, because a little bit that I read about it and I've learned about it is that this is really kind of a passion project with you and your dad. Can you kind of talk about like how that came to be a little bit for us?
Yeah, so some of you guys are familiar with Raconteur Rye, and as I was working with James to develop that, I think my dad kind of found it interesting that I was, you know, going to put together something. And of course, he was already familiar with Pride of Anderson County, which was a collaboration with Rare Character, bottling some wild turkey independently. And we just were bouncing around some ideas, and it turned into, well, what if we tried to do some stuff, And he's not a big whiskey drinker. He loves wine and brandy, specifically French wine and brandy. He's a big fan of. So I thought, I was explaining to him how finishing works, and maybe we could, do a couple barrels where we finish them in French spirits or French wine. And that was kind of the start. And we originally called it Washington Lafayette. We kind of thought that was a cool name because it was America meets France, and it sounded right. But the more I got to thinking about it, the more he got to thinking about it, it just didn't have that catch to it. And I just one day was folding clothes or something like I was sitting there thinking about the whole family history thing, and I have an ancestor, my fifth great grandfather, Caleb Jennings, who served in the American Revolution, lived in Virginia, and after the war, he sold his property, and him and his brother, ancestor actually, sold their property and moved down south, and they settled in Georgia, well, North Carolina for a brief time, then Georgia, and then Caleb finally crossed the Savannah River and moved into a parcel of land that was previously owned by a French Huguenot named Jean Emery, and he purchased 100 acres. And that's where my family's from. It was called New Bordeaux at the time, and now it's better known as McCormick, South Carolina. But all of my family is from that area on the Jennings side. I do have relatives that still live there. And a lot of us have kind of spread out into the Augusta, Georgia area, or, where I live in North Augusta, South Carolina. And then some of us as far out as, Florida and some other states. But yeah, that's how it started. We just kind of had this idea to roll with that and called it Caleb's Crossing because he had to cross a lot of rivers, mountains, and he had to get there, so that's where it comes from.
We nerd out a little bit, David, and one of the nerdy things that if you do any bourbon history study, right, like there's all these Kentucky rivers that kind of cross each other, and if you go way back, like some of the first whiskey was traded and shared around these river crossings, and so right. So I kind of when I was like looking into this, I was thinking, what a cool concept is it, like, here David is doing all these cool things with whiskey where we're kind of like sharing ideas, sharing of whiskey, but also this idea of like Caleb's Crossing being tied to your family. And was there a thoughtful process in the word crossing too, where you were trying to like bring people together around whiskey, or like what was was there something there?
It was really just based on him crossing the Savannah River in my mind when I was originally, coming up with this. And that was in a lot of ways where this medallion came from. It's basically supposed to look like colonial coinage. But if you wanted to cross a river back then, you either had to ford the river or you had to pay a ferryman to cross it because the bridges were not, there were very few of them. And so that kind of symbolizes, and I actually found some genealogical records where Caleb is on multiple petitions to have ferries, brought into the area where he lived. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So there is a tie to that.
Is there a significance of the little drum on the coin?
So yeah, the drum is it's a fife and drum. Actually, if you look, there's a fife on top and a drumstick. It's symbolic of his service in the American Revolution. He served in both the Orange County Militia and the Regiment of Guards in Charlottesville as an enlisted soldier. So that's where that comes from. Obviously, the CC so cool. is for Caleb's Crossing, and it's also this leather strap here has a tie-in as well, because when Caleb's father died, Caleb was too young to be an adult, so he had to have a male speak for him, and he ended up going back to Orange County. They were in Goochland, and he moved back to Orange County and became an indentured apprentice and learned leather making from that apprenticeship. So as well as learning how to read and write, and his will is written in his own hand. So we know that the master kept his end of the deal. So pretty cool though. That's where that comes from.
To say you put some details into the design of the bottle and the thoughtfulness is an understatement. But I'm ready to get into some whiskey. Mac, do you want to?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you got there, Mac?
I've got the blend of bourbon and rye, which I don't think we're allowed to say burr rye. David, is that because you'll get a cease?
Is that the one we're gonna do first?
Okay. Yeah, casually, we don't use it in our marketing or post, whatever, because that's a trademark of High West. But people say that kind of, just in conversation. To me, I just, you refer to it as the bourbon and rye blend.
Yeah.
Well, and I've got batch 2. I don't know what you guys have, but
that's what I got. I've got batch 2 as well.
Okay. So
I got batch 1 here. But maybe
you can tell us a little bit about the difference in the batches, David. Like, what was the difference in batch 1 and batch 2?
So just a little bit of background about the product in general. This is the, let's see if I can get it turned right here. Okay. This is our bourbon and rye blend. And the back label looks like this here.
Hold on a second, David. I'm going to do something real quick. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'll pull you over. I'm going to put you full screen. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is the back label, and the batch number is right there. So this is BBR2. And what this is a blend of 12-year MGP rye, and depending on your batch, 7 or 8-year Green River, 21% rye bourbon. Now, they all came from the same lots, so we purchased, the same barrels from the same, broker or producer, and with essentially the same lot codes. And so they've just kind of aged as we've made more. So the first batch was 7-year bourbon and 12-year rye. The second batch was 8-year bourbon and 12-year rye. And the third batch, which should be coming out soon, is 8.5-year bourbon and 7-year, 11-month, 95.5 rye. So just about 11 days shy of 13-year rye. So to me, it was more about, it's not like the label carries an age statement. So to me, it's all about the flavor. So I wasn't going to just, cancel the bottling date to let it hit 13, Besides, that rye will be 13 by the fourth batch. So we just, keep rolling with it. But it's all barrel strength. There's no water added to it, no chill filtration, no additives. It's 100% straight whiskey. There's no finishing, anything like that. So these barrels are just dumped at barrel strength, run through a very simple filter to get out the char bits, and then bottled. And they're bottled at Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Gotcha. Nice. So, David, did you start with the bourbon? Go ahead.
Can I ask a question, Hack?
I'm sorry,
is that okay? Hack is just Hack is so excited. This is what happened.
I'm so excited. I'm sorry.
Which is
that's
awesome.
cool.
I love it. But I have to. I do want to ask too. I think, as selling, picking single barrel, selling them, ryes are harder to sell in the market, right? I consider myself a rye person. I think a lot of people now are kind of. I don't know. Last year was a great year for rye. I think I don't know if you feel that, David, but there's, some killer releases.
Definitely.
This though, which the bourbon and rye blend that you did, is this I think perfect gateway of, and because it brings that sort of spice kick that you get. It also, the sum is greater than the parts here. Maybe talk to that idea of, people being scared of rye, what this is, and how you went into this. And then also the viscosity on this is something I've noticed across all of your releases. Is that something you pay attention to as well?
All great questions. I think you hit the nail on the head, honestly. I have a friend of mine, cheers, Jason, if you're watching, who does not like rye whiskey. He is just not a rye person, loves the bourbon and rye blend, loves it. I think you're right. It is a very nice gateway into that, because a lot of folks that aren't big rye fans, I think they're put off by the brighter notes, the spicier notes. You get a lot of pepper and dill and herbs and all these, that bright citrus things that are very different from bourbon, not wholly different, but they do have their own identity, especially if you're talking about a high rye mash bill like 95.5, which is arguably the most popular rye mash bill. So what this does is it takes an older rye component. So you're adding those oak notes. And I've noticed that as 95.5 gets older, more often than not, it brings out more fruit notes. You guys might be familiar with some of those 11 and 13-year OKI picks that we've done with Wes and Indalls. A lot of red fruit in that. Raspberry, some could even say like a candy cherry. There's a lot of fruit going on there, but you don't usually get that in younger rye. If you do, it's more citrus more often than not, lemon peel, orange peel. Sometimes you get white or stone fruit like, nectarine or pear or these kind of things. But starting with that older rye is important because it becomes the foundation. And a lot of your bourbon and rye blends, to me, from my experience, a lot of bourbon rye blends are trying intentionally or come across as a high rye bourbon. They usually take an older bourbon and a younger rye, and so they've got a bourbon base for your foundation because it's older, and then you're throwing in the rye to bring out brighter notes and spicier notes. This is kind of flipped on its head a little bit because the rye is more the foundation, and then the bourbon adds that corn sweetness. And and then Green River, which is the source of the bourbon, already has a lot of fruit notes. One of my favorite things about Green River is that orchard fruit note that they carry in a lot of their expressions. So you get a lot of peach, you get a lot of pear. Sometimes you get maraschino cherry. You can get orange, tangerine, lots of crazy orchard fruit, and it's forward in Green River. It's not like this little, sometimes fruit's a subtle thing. Like with a Knob Creek, you might be like, I get a little fruit in that, But in Green River, it's usually one of the first things I smell. The second the glass is like, okay, So putting those two together, to me, was and it came after a lot of frustration. I was trying to come up with a straight bourbon and a straight rye. Okay. And when I would come up with something that I liked, it tasted like something else, it was like I wanted a unique identity. It didn't have to be the best in the world, but it had to be its own thing. Like, the Edge with U2, he has his own sound. You hear him and that what that is. So I wanted that, and just out of just screwing around, I mixed some rye and bourbon together, and it just worked. And then I tweaked it, and I started hand selecting barrels, really getting down to the nitty gritty, like which barrels work best together. And these are all 4-barrel batches with the bourbon and rye blend, at least to date. And how I do that is I don't try to find 4 barrels that work together from the start. I think if you do that, you're gonna waste a lot of time. What you do is you find a lot of barrels that you just like on their own, like let's say 6 to 8 barrels that you really like on their own. And then you find a bourbon barrel that works well with a rye barrel. And once you've got that 2-barrel blend, you set that aside. And then you repeat the process. And then once you come up with a second one that works together, then you blend those two with the other 2 and see if that works. And if it doesn't, then you need to find another 2 barrels that work together. And you just kind of keep whittling it down till you reach that 4 that just absolutely work together so well. And I think you'll notice that the proof on these are not far from each other. And that's because I guess I'm going for that same taste every time, and I'm not looking at proof or trying to get to a certain proof. It's just all going by taste. I usually find out the proof after the fact. Some of the samples have ABVs on it. With this particular product, they do. But like with the dual cask, a lot of the finished stuff, we're not always pulling the proof every time. So, it's really just whittling it down. And I do it all at home. And I have that ability to kind of try something, let it sit for a while, come back to it, wait for the next day, try it again. I have that luxury of kind of, doing that slower. I think that one thing that the heritage brands kind of, that they don't have that luxury, I don't think, a lot of times, especially when it comes to their very large products like your Wild Turkey 101, this type of stuff where you're dumping 1,000+ barrels. You just, you taste some lot samples, you figure out what works together, and then you dump 1,000 barrels and hope that it works. And with these being very small, there's a luxury there to be able to nitpick, So we've nitpicked a good bit, and we've had barrels that we've set back that we weren't thrilled with, and then waited a year or so and come back and they've been great. So you just kind of have to, just spend a little time with it, trust your gut, cross your fingers.
Yeah.
And you asked me some other questions, and I may not have answered every one. So
I think you did great.
I think you nailed it. I mean, especially with hat going upside down here for a second.
I want to tell you, David, we have a rich tradition of every time we're in our biggest opportunities, we screw it up really bad. So this is what we do. Mac,
guys, I'm just like, honestly, I'm really, I'm honored that you guys talk so kindly of me, but I mean, if we were just hanging out, I'm no different than you guys. Seriously.
I appreciate that.
This is one thing I like about the whiskey community is that we are very tight knit, and even the ones that have kind of been in it for a long time and have grown a following, whatever, they hang out with people. You wouldn't know them, any different, So, but thank you. But I love just hanging out and talking this stuff.
Mac, can I talk about the pour for a second, Mac? And then I promise I'll let you talk. I promise I'll be.
No, I just wanted to say one thing. You're leading the way. I had to get one question in.
I know. I'll be nicer. I'll share, David.
Thank you.
David, this pour, I get a ton of like a really sweet citrus, and it starts on the nose, and then it goes into like those candy fruits you talked about. Like it's almost like a candied orange, and then it gets into the richer caramels, the sweetness. And then the rye hits you at the very end, which is exactly what I want. Like, I don't want the rye to come too early in the pour, because for me, that can get a little too spicy. It's one of the most connected pours that I think I own, meaning that like it just, I'm wondering, like, when you were putting this together, did you lay it down with the bourbon first and get it where you wanted to and then add the rye? Or did you, like, how did it all kind of like?
Well, like it was really kind of an accidental discovery. But fortunately, we had a good number of barrels to play around with. So it really just came down to the point of which ones work right now and which ones don't. And what I was looking for wasn't necessarily, when it got to that point where I knew this was the blend I wanted to do, it became less about, I found the barrels that I liked, but I'm not releasing a single barrel. So I didn't get too worried if like this barrel or that barrel had like a minor imperfection here or there on something, because I knew it would go into a blend. And sometimes those little obtuse notes can benefit you in a blend because they're bringing something out that isn't there. So it really comes down to which barrels play well together. Now, if I have a barrel that just isn't something I want to bottle right now, it gets pulled out. It gets cold and pushed aside, and we'll sit on it and let it age out. But it really just more comes down to, how do I make a good peanut butter jelly sandwich with whiskey? Really, that's kind of what it's about. And, there's no, like I said, there's no proofing of these. So, whatever I blend at home, comes very, very close to what comes out in the bottle. The only exception is you don't know exactly how much is in every barrel. Now, if the barrel is really short, the bottling house would notify me. But you can do equal parts and all this kind of stuff, but that's not going to happen when you dump the barrels, because each barrel is going to have its own little unique volume, and so that's helps make every batch different. It's not just that the proof is different. It's not that the ages are months different. A lot of it is just the character of the barrels themselves is what makes them different. And I shoot for consistency, but with batches this small, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have a unique identity to even if it's just a small amount for each batch.
Are any of these still around, this batch 2?
Batch 2, yes. Go to shared pour.
Okay.
The batch 2 sold out on Bourbon Outfitter and Bros Liquor. I think Unwind Bottle Shop might have some left, but shared pour definitely has batch 2 left. And that one, I'm very, very I'm proud of all the stuff I've done. But batch 2 has recently received some good attention, and that makes me feel good. I'm Breaking Bourbon had good things to say about it. The Bourbon Junkies put it in their top 10 for last year, and and I get messages and emails and stuff every day saying, "Hey, I took a chance, picked it up, enjoyed it," because it's not a cheap bottle. I'll admit, $125 is not cheap whiskey. But I don't want to make cheap whiskey. I want to make whiskey that tastes really good. And we're a very small producer, and we can't bottle things at $50 like the biggies can. We would be in the hole. So, until we get to a certain, volume, certain size, we work with what we have. And I try to compensate by that by making the best whiskey I can with small, highly curated batches. And I'm tasting stuff all the time and always trying to find new barrels. One thing that I avoid, and there's nothing wrong at all with the folks that do this, because there are a lot of NDPs that do this, and I admire their work and love their single barrels. But I'm not in that single barrel game. I'm not not saying I'll never do a single barrel release, but I don't want to go for the trendy stuff. Like, I'm not trying to get high age Barton or Buffalo Turkey or these things that you see them come in waves. Like, everybody's got 18-year Barton, or everybody's like, I'm just not interested in that, because while that's fantastic whiskey 9 times out of 10, it's just not exciting for me. And it's kind of like, I just want to do what I find fun and exciting, and I like a challenge. So if I have to work with whiskey that's younger than that, okay, fine. Maybe I can make something that's great at that age. And folks, there's anybody that sits there and makes decisions on ages alone are really shooting themselves in the foot, because there are producers out there putting out some really high quality whiskey at younger ages. And I don't even say 8 years isn't young to me. In my head, 8 years is a nice, well-rounded, like perfectly aged bourbon. But like New Riff 8 years, killer. Big fan of the Dickel 8 year. I know a lot of people might shock them, but I am. But you have the new Foolproof Weeded here from Green River. It's just killer stuff. Green River single barrels. And then of course you've got Wild Turkey 8 year, which is awesome. The new 101 8 year. Russell's 10 is a solid pour. Russell single barrels are around 8 years. Great whiskey. It doesn't have to have double digits to be good. It just doesn't. But you do have to get out there and explore, because that's the only way to know how things taste is to pick up some things off the shelf and try them. And I think it was on Marty's show the other night I mentioned where I'm really enjoying going back and trying a lot of the shelf products that were around whenever I got into the hobby, because those were like the things to write about. Like, there wasn't all this stuff that we have now. Like, now it's like the whiskey owls are just have tripled since I started. I remember rye used to be like this little section beside the bourbon, collecting dust. And now like there's a whole rye row, or shelf, whatever. And so, I would encourage everybody to get out there and explore some of the stuff that you look at every day, and just your mind just goes right past it, because it's just like you see it all the time. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something in there that if you would just take, the $50 and roll the dice, you might find a new shelfer that you love.
Yeah. Can we explore this one now, Matt?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Next?
I'm so
Is this dual cask 1 or 2?
I have Cask 2, dual Cask 2 is what I have.
Excellent.
Mac, which one are you?
I've got both here.
He's going to do a side by side. Yeah.
And I'm just excited for Hack to try this one. David, when so like I've been really getting into Armagnacs the past 6 months, kind of a newer thing for me. I know that that's something that was a big thing that you've loved. But also I know Hack had maybe a question about the Pinot de Charance here, but while he's cracking that, maybe
I
just
may have to go off camera.
He's
'cause I have
eating
my
it.
pocket knife.
Oh, no.
you're not going off camera for open. We want to see the whole thing, buddy.
I mean, I'm over here working it, like trying to get into this wax. This is not exactly a Detling wax, but I'm having some. I'm not the wax master that you are, Mac. We've seen you do work on a Detling that
I know. I
is,
did some good work.
thing of legends.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm
maybe
gonna have to use the teeth.
and Hack, your mic's a little low, but I think we can still hear all right, just so you know. But I think I would love. Okay, my first question here: can you go too far with finishing whiskey?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go too far with finishing. You can go not far enough. You can go too far with just aging straight whiskey. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not going to be good forever in that barrel.
right.
So, yeah, timing. I mean, when it comes to spirits and very, certainly whiskey, timing is everything. I mean, you're relying on Mother Nature. No matter what you do to manipulate it, it's ultimately Mother Nature that's going to determine that flavor.
Right.
And so you either work with Mother Nature or you work against Mother Nature, or you ignore Mother Nature and you suffer later. So you do have to be attentive when it comes to finishing. Just to give you a little background on this one. So I'm sipping Dual Cask 2.
Yep.
Dual Cask 1 was our first release. That and a rye that we had, which went really quickly, but we had a rye that was finished in Pinot de Chiron, single barrel. And but these were freshly dumped casks that we got from France. So we didn't use a barrel broker in the United States. We went and got barrels from overseas. Thanks to Rideau and Speyside for that. And we got some Pinot de Chiron barrels, and we got some Armagnac barrels. Now, Pinot de Chiron, for those who aren't familiar, a lot of people just abbreviate as PDC, or they'll say Pinot. It's technically a wine, but not really, because it doesn't use fermented grapes. So they take unfermented grape juice and they add like new make cognac to it, and they barrel it. So it's kind of like spiked grape juice that's barrel aged.
Nice.
There's no sulfur used in the process of making Pinot de Chiron, and so a lot of those sulfury wine notes that people get all worried about, like matchsticks and this kind of stuff, you don't really have to worry about that with Pinot. And we got some red Pinot and some white Pinot casks, and we dumped some bourbon and rye and wheat whiskey into it. And I can tell you more about the wheat later. But they stayed in there for a couple of months. These, like I said, were first fill, and so your extraction happens a lot quicker with a first fill. We moved the whiskey from Pinot to Armagnac, and then let it sit for a few months, and then we dumped it. The whole time I slow proofed along the way. And the first Dual Cask finish is a batch of a MGP 36% rye and an MGP 21% rye bourbon. So it's two bourbons, two different recipes. One was this 36% was 6 years, the 21% was 7 years, and they were each, finished in their own trail of casks. So they went from Pinot into Armagnac. They didn't share casks, whatever. They got blended at the end. That was Dual Cask 1. With Dual Cask 2, there was a single barrel of 21% 7-year, 21% rye MGP bourbon that just stood on its own. And so I set it aside from day one, and we just let it sit there for a few months. And when the casks were emptied from Dual Cask 2 and the rye and the wheat and all the projects we're working on, we then dumped it into a Pinot cask, where it stayed for, I want to say it was about 6 months in the Pinot. And then it spent about 10 months in Armagnac. So it has a total finishing time of 16 months. Way, way different from the first one. This is a lot longer, and this is all second fill. So the extraction happens slower, and you can kind of guide it along. I also slow proofed this one. So, every time I would take a sample, let's say I'd pull 200 milliliters, I would put 200 milliliters of water back into the cask. So it was just slowly over time, it would proof and extract a lot more gracefully than with the first one. Now, as proud as I am of the first one, the second one to me kind of hit all the boxes I wanted to check. For a 7 years, well, starting as a 7-year whiskey, and it's got 16 months finishing time on top of it. All right.
We did it.
This hit the.
I'm having trouble with this, David. Just so you know.
Is that one giving you trouble too?
Yeah.
No.
So I might have skimp on the wax, David. You did not.
Well, if you need to step aside and cut, I'll tell you a trick is if you take a little hot water in the sink and just hold your bottle down and let it. I learned this from Jay, and you let it run on it. It'll soften up the wax, and you can just take a butter knife and go around it and get a nice clean cut.
The problem we had is we cleaned this house out completely, and so I don't have a knife. I had to go out in the yard and get some squirrels. And I held the squirrel to the top of this bottle and just went all the way around it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go open this.
Yeah.
What David was talking about, which I'm sad you weren't here to hear it.
I heard everything. Yeah.
Slow proofing.
Proofing, and look, there's secrets, right, that you may or may not want to share. So just tell me to shut up, Hack, if we get into something.
No, I'm very transparent on all this.
One thing you've said on the podcast that I want to bring up when talking about slow proofing is you made a statement on a podcast once that one of your favorite whiskeys and one thing that you thought was one of the best blends you've ever seen done was Still Austin Tanager.
I think that Tanager, it really impressed me. It seriously impressed me. Knowing the age of the whiskey that's in it, knowing that the producer is not a large producer. And then I've always appreciated Nancy's work. She's done great jobs with Magnus and so many others. I mean, the list is longer than my arm. But I mean, she really took on a challenge. I mean, honestly, and this is not knocking Still Austin. If anything, it should speak highly of them that she was willing to work with them. But wow. I mean, Tanager blew me away. I don't have the second one. I mean, the first one, I had to buy an open bottle of one that somebody who wasn't the biggest fan of it, and everybody's different, whatever. But I loved it. And I'm kind of jealous of the folks that got the second one. But the first one is a special pour for me. I try to, hang on to it. But that was slow proof, but that was actually different because they did that whole Petito thing where you and they are not so a lot of people don't know this, but like American producers kind of do this in a way. They do what's called barrel rinsing, which is your big producers, when they dump the barrels, they will rinse the barrels out with water, and then they will use that to proof down the whiskey. Brown-Forman has a process that's a little bit different than everybody else's. Most other folks just rinse it, dump it, and then off it goes to be resold to go to Scotch or whatever. But like Brown-Forman has a process where they fill the barrel about halfway-ish, and then they let it sit for about 3 to 6 weeks, and it extracts more of the whiskey into the water, and then they use that to proof down. So if you wonder why some of those Brown-Forman products, like for example, if you ever take like a Old Forester barrel proof, and you proof it down to 100, and then you take a pick that is 100 proof, like a Black Label, and you compare them, there's just something, even though they're different barrels, there's something else. It's like, why is this one thinner than that one, whatever. And I think it has something to do with that. Now, whether they use that for Old Forester or not, I don't know. I just know Brown-Forman. I've heard about a process like that Brown-Forman uses, and whether they're using it for Woodford or Jack or Full Forester or whatever. But I have I think that's probably why some of those Old Forester products have that richness when they're proofed down. I could be wrong.
That makes sense. I mean, you're the first person that I've ever heard about that barrel rinsing, but that makes perfect sense because Petito is basically taking the 50%.
Right. Now, what Nancy's doing is more of a refined process that comes from France, and she's I'm not, I like to quote my friend Kenny, I'm facts optional, but You'll have to Google the stuff yourself, but from what I understand, the Petito is very similar to that, where you take water and you add it to a dump barrel.
Your
and
slow waterproofing you're doing here, it's
just RO water going in. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The Petito thing is very cool, and she's very particular about it. If I remember right, it had to be a certain ABV because you want it was. Whiskey was added back to the water, right? So it had to be a certain ABV so that that water didn't go stagnant, or whatever. And they held it for a very, very long time. It wasn't weeks like I've read before about Brown-Forman. It was like a year or something, right? I mean, I'm kind of going by memory, but very impressive. Tanningers, killer. I mean, if I ever produce a whiskey like that, I'll just kick back and smoke a cigar and be like, I did it, I love Tanninger.
I don't think awesome. This is that far. This is not that far off, my friend.
Oh, well, too kind.
Incredible. This is incredible.
Well, there's a big difference too. I mean, this is sourced whiskey at Green River and MGP both make fantastic whiskey. Still, Austin's doing their own thing. There's something to be said for those smaller producers, distilling producers like that.
It's one of the questions, I think when I asked before Hack jumped off, which by the way, I think Caleb's Crossing is now above Detling and far difficulty to get off, David. I don't know.
Just for us.
Which is for us.
I think what happened was mine opened up just fine, but
could be
some of the bottles, they're all hand dipped. So it's very possible that some of them just got a thicker layer of wax than others.
It's a sign of
But if you've got one, don't hesitate to use the warm water trick.
Yeah.
But this would be the last waxed bottle. I don't know about ever, but for a very long time. We're now doing a strip that you see on the Caleb's Crossing Bourbon and Rye blend. And that strip actually has my ancestor's actual signature on it. We pulled that from his will. And one thing I wanted to mention real quick. You had briefly said something about you enjoyed the quality of the design and the thoughtfulness of the coin and everything. I really need to give a shout out to our designer, Ricky Frame. Ricky, who also designed my books, and he designed Raconteur Rye, and I mean, so many other things he's done for me, little knickknacks and coins and stuff. But he killed it with this. I mean, we had a basic idea, and I gave him some notes about some things I thought might work and some symbols that I thought might work. And I found some wine bottles and spirits bottles that mostly brandy and some bourbon that I thought had cool concepts. I didn't want to copy them, but I wanted to use them kind of as a, this is the kind of atmosphere. This is the kind of vibe I want it to have. And Ricky just nailed it. And
awesome.
One thing I really like about it is the sketches, so that, our different expressions have a different sketch. And so it kind of ties in that whiskey tells a story thing. And we're telling Caleb's story, through a new sketch every time we have a new type of expression.
David, I would love, so I know we're coming up, see, we're coming
up
so much for
who's counting at this point, right?
Tell us how much time you have.
I'm a whiskey in, who cares? Right?
I love it. Well, I got some turkey questions, but I want Hack to give his notes live with you, David, on here for this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: with the dual cask finish, what I and I'm not going to spoil any notes or anything. That's
okay,
all.
Don't give him notes, David. Don't give him.
But
notes.
A fresh crack, honestly, I feel like with the dual cask finish, and this goes for a lot of finished whiskeys, I think rest time is a very important thing, because if for some reason, it's just like how you aerate wine. If you let it sit and you let it kind of air out a little bit, you will pick up different notes, because if it's a fresh crack and just pour it, you don't let it rest, you're going to get more spirited notes. And then if you let it rest, those spirited notes kind of the ethanol kind of smooths out, and you end up with more of those fruity notes that you would get from like the Armagnac cask or the Pinot. So, not telling you how to do your thing. I'm just saying from my experience, I've found that rest time with these, really helps, but
I'm sure,
knock it out.
Sure, it opens up. So the reason Mac is doing this, and David, you need to hear this story, is we're hanging out one night. We got invited to a private chat, and Nancy's in the chat, and Mac was asking her questions about Magnus, and he he got out the Magnus, and Nancy asked him, "Hey, Matt, give me your notes." And my man locked up.
I like that.
He gave 2 notes.
I gave
This is how it went.
Oh,
Caramel and oak.
I said nice oak. I said nice oak. Okay, and caramel.
Nice oak. Caramel.
Well, you know, one little tip that I'll give folks, if you're ever if you get stumped easy on notes, okay, and you want a little trick that it's not so much a trick, it's a trick for your brain, okay, to really figure out what you're tasting here. Find a note that you're confident that it has, okay, even if it's something as simple as vanilla, okay. So let's say, and that would be more for a bourbon, not necessarily a finished whiskey, but let's say you know you're really getting vanilla. Then just ask yourself, what kind of vanilla is this? Is it vanilla extract? Is it vanilla ice cream? Is it vanilla pudding? Is it vanilla Coke? Is it vanilla bean? Is it like a vanilla that somebody's torched a little bit, like a creme brulee? If you start asking yourself these questions and you have a conversation with yourself about each note, you can write some amazing whiskey notes, because then instead of just putting vanilla, oak, spice, you're putting things like vanilla bean, you know, toasted oak, you know, or maybe, you know, herbal spice or earthy spice or candy spice, or, you know, so adding these adjectives, these descriptors to what you're not making stuff up. You're asking yourself, what is this, you know? And so if you say, well, I'm getting cola, well, is it RC? Coke Classic? What is it? Like, what is it more vibing you like? Well, more of a crafty kind of cola. Like, you ever had craft cola that you went to like a brewery and they made their own? And, you know, it's like that's how you kind of pull it out of your mind. So a lot of like, they'll say, I can't do tasting notes, whatever. And I'm like, I think you can. You just got to have that conversation with yourself, and you got to be honest about it. And if you're not like, let's say you go into a pour that is just known for having this note, you know, like Dickel's got to have the Flintstone vitamin, or, you know, Jack Daniels has got to have the banana or Barton banana or whatever. Every once in a while, you'll get a barrel that doesn't really have those things. Like it's there a little bit or whatever, you know, it's there, but you're like, this just really isn't coming across. Well, then make sure that you stress that in your notes. Like, you know, put it as one of the last notes, maybe not one of the first notes. You know, I tend to do my notes in order of prominence. So the first notes for each section is what I'm getting most of, and then the last notes are what I'm getting least of, you know. So just a little tip for anybody trying to write reviews.
Those are great.
You know, think about more, have a conversation with yourself, and don't look at it as the big thing. Like, you get freaked out, like, oh my God, what is it? What am I? You know, it's like, just think about, find one note, zero in on it, ask yourself the questions, and then move on to the next note.
Yeah, and for me, so I'm David on this, on the nose. I definitely get a prune. Like, it's like it's prune, and it's a dark prune, and it's like those dark fruit notes, but it's also got a lot of sweetness. Where on the bourbon rye blend, I got a lot of citrus on the nose. This is a darker prune, but also the sweetness behind it. And I'll take a sip.
Yeah, this would definitely be darker and softer on the nose than the bourbon rye blend.
This one definitely has that sweet tobacco. Like, it has got a sweet tobacco on it, prune, sweet tobacco, and like a little bit of like candied, you know, like it's almost like that. What is that? It's like a you know, like when you get a candied, like a candied raspberry, blueberry type thing. Like, there is a lot of fruit in this.
Yeah, it's very dark fruit forward. And I should mention that Dual Cask 2, which is what we're sipping now, it is still available, or was. There were, I think, maybe 30 bottles left at Bourbon Outfitter. So if you're interested in Dual Cask 2, you can get it there. It is a little bit more expensive than the bourbon rye blend, but that's because we had to put a lot of time into this one. I'll just be honest. Everything we do at the bottling house costs money. So, you know, it's one thing to just sit on a barrel and then dump it. It's another thing to have them pull samples, add water, move it this cask to that cask, and all that adds up. But are you comparing?
I am.
Okay. So to me, 1 and 2 are very different.
They are, but and also, so you've got the 107 proof, which is in that first one, and there's a reason I keep refilling these because it's like I try not to do that with I try to do it. But I'm loving this. And you got
2 check the box. Like I will always love one, and it was how I dipped my toes into finishing whiskey. Right. Well, Raconteur rye to some degree, but this was with a spirit and wine finish. So this really tested me, and but the second one, it was just like I did it.
Yeah.
I found this is what I wanted from the first one. I got it on the second one.
Well, what is it about the difference for you? Because the first one is it's a bit more sweet on the front palate to me, with like that almost like vanilla ice cream thing. Since we're talking about the different types of vanilla,
sure.
I'm trying to
lean into that. The first one has 36% rye MGP in it. It's 6 and 7 year, so 36% rye is 6 year, which MGP 36% rye recipe actually does pretty well at 6, 7, 8 years old. And then it's also 21% 7 year MGP bourbon. And so it's a blend of those two. And so you're getting characteristics of 6 year 36% and 7 year 21%, but then you're also getting a shorter time in the finishing cask because it's extracting so quickly that if you leave it, you're going to alter the profile to something that I didn't want. Somebody else might want it that way. Some people like a heavy finish. I didn't want a heavy finish. So with the first one, I was kind of shooting for more of I wanted to keep that bourbon identity. Okay. Right. So you mentioned the vanilla and this kind of thing. It has more of a bourbon identity. Whereas the second one, I was just like, I want this to be dark, decadent, syrupy, lots of dark fruit, lots of oak, tobacco, leather. I wanted that. I wanted more of a cigar pour. So with the second one,
I was going to ask. I didn't want to say the cigar thing.
I know it's a trendy, kind of gimmick at this point. But
people have had to ask that of you, or you had to. Did you ever think of like how do you feel about cigar blends, cigar batches, and naming? Anyway, I'll just.
I'm not okay. Doing something like Nancy does, I think it's awesome. And she was kind of the first one to really put it on the map. She wasn't the first to do it. I mean, Dalmore had the cigar, batch scotch or whatever it's called. But, and then traditionally, cocktails, brandy, rum, there's tons of, cigar pours, you could have. But what she did, I think she did a very good job with Joseph Magnus of creating a bourbon that was perfect to have with a cigar because it had a lot of sweetness from the cask finishes and dark complexity, which works really well when you're smoking tobacco because, they kind of play off of each other. Okay. And I thought that was great. Then you start getting into all these crazy Amberana things. And like we threw like 18 staves from all these different like toast levels and all this kind of stuff. It's like, I get it. I think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love experimentation, but I think it reaches a certain point where it's like, it's almost like we're just going to call it the cigar blend, because we did finishing to it, and it's like, so I have no interest in doing a cigar blend brand kind of thing, but I do enjoy making whiskeys that work well with cigars because I enjoy cigars. So, I think Dual Cask 2 to me, like as much as I enjoyed the first one and I still do, it's more of a bourbon-y kind of profile, whereas the second one is definitely more of a decadent kind of brandy or kind of profile.
Well, for those who might want a bourbon that might happen to pair really well with a cigar, Dual Cask 2 is really great for that.
Well, thank you. I love it. I mean, Dual Cask 2 just. I mean, I've had to buy a few myself from Bourbon Outfitter because I can't take but so many from the, so it's like, I want to enjoy it myself. So I bought some, but
that's a sign of a great whiskey when you want to buy your own whiskey, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I make no bones about it. I'm blending for myself. I'm being selfish on this shit. Like, I mean, like if it's something I don't want to sip, why am I making it? So, whether you like it or not, I'm cool with it because I like it. It's kind of like sometimes there's a quote years ago from Jimmy Russell about, what are you going to do with all this bourbon that nobody's buying? He's like, well, there's worse problems to have, So it's I love it. there's it's I make it for me. So even if I just have to drink it for the rest of my life, I'll be happy with it.
So David, people here are are you a cigar smoker? Have you smoked a cigar with any cigar things with this?
So I'm not enjoying cigars as often as I used to. Back during COVID, it was almost a daily thing. I wouldn't say daily, but it was like 5 times a week at least. I mean, it was very, very frequent. And then it kind of tapered off. And then as my traveling ratcheted up, and then I got involved with projects like Raconteur Rye and Caleb's Crossing and managing the Patreon. I mean, a cigar requires you to sit down and enjoy it. And I don't want to just, and puff and be like, working on shit. Like I want to sit back and enjoy it. So, I've had a couple here at the house. We moved about a year ago, and I would say, I've had 10, 12 cigars over the last, year or something like that. And then when I travel and go to Kentucky, we'll go to Jake's in Lexington and shout out to Jake's. But when it comes to that, honestly, I'm pairing with coffee a lot because I tend to enjoy cigars more in the morning than in the evening. And so, hitting the booze first thing in the morning isn't something I do unless I'm doing tasting notes and then I'm spitting in the sink. But, usually it's coffee, but there are times that, I had Eddie Russell over at the house last year, and me and Ryan and Bruce, and we got to enjoy some cigars and whiskey and stayed up really late. And that was awesome. But, so I don't do a lot of pairings at home just because of a time thing. And I don't want to just do it to try it and then have to throw away a stick. Like if I'm going to enjoy a stick, I'm enjoy a stick, So, but I did try dual cask one with it. I tried the rye with it, loved it. I have not tried the bourbon rye blend with a cigar yet. I didn't really make that with that in mind, but I know people that enjoy the bourbon rye blend with a cigar. But I'm looking forward to trying the second one with a cigar because I'm confident, it'll be perfect because the first one definitely was.
Yeah. Well, I know we are. We have a couple turkey questions, David. So
let's go.
So I think so. Caleb's Crossing, I dropped it in the chat. Bourbon Outfitter still has some of these dual cast too, which I was already, it's a good whiskey when you sip and you're like, do I need to back up? That's kind of where I was at with this one. I mean, Hack, am I right? Like, how great is this? Right. So,
so just real quick, and I know my mic is not the best tonight. I apologize to everybody out there watching from home. I really do.
Oh, don't apologize for that.
I usually have a better one. David, can you just, before we leave Caleb's Crossing, we get into turkey, would you mind telling people, where they can still get this? Because I think that this batch 2 is almost gone from what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's getting low. Bourbon Outfitter has the dual cast 2. So if you're interested in the Pinot and Armagnac finish bourbon, then head over to Bourbon Outfitter. You can use the code RB101. It'll give you a discount at checkout. And then if you're interested in the bourbon and rye blend, specifically batch 2, which is the one that I sent Breaking Bourbon and the Bourbon Junkies, that can be found at Shared Pour.
Awesome. So y'all check it out.
Y'all seriously, when I heard this was almost gone, today, it's like go out and grab because this is special. I'm
very, very happy with the dual cast too. It's 16 months. It's I'm not going to be doing something like this for a long time because it took a lot. And I feel like I've checked the boxes I want to check in this department right now. So I'm focused on some other projects, which if you want to, right before we close out, if you let me know, I'll tell you some of the stuff we've got coming. But so this is a one and done here.
That's awesome. Well, maybe you should actually. Can you just tell us what's coming as Hack? Because I think we've got a
couple turkey questions. That make more sense. Okay, so some of you that follow Cumming Whiskey on Instagram and X, you saw a Quartermaster's Reserve. That is this dual cast 2 is 100% from the barrels because it's a single barrel that we first bought from MGP when we started this label, when we started the brand. So this is OG. That's why we put the wax on it. We put the old Washington Lafayette label on it because this is kind of like a farewell to that initial start, and now we're on phase 2. The Quartermaster's blend is a combination of 2 Green River barrels, 21%, that were finished in Omega French oak casks, and a wheat whiskey barrel that was from the original lot of barrels that we bought that spent 20 months finishing for 20 months. So we have a Green River bourbon that finished for 1 month in Omega French oak. We have a Green River bourbon that spent 9 months in Omega French oak. And then we have a wheat whiskey, 95.5 wheat from MGP, that spent 20 months in ex-bourbon, Pinot de Charente, and Armagnac. And it's a 3-barrel blend, and it's pretty, the proof is pretty up there. And it is probably my best finished whiskey I've ever made. And
when is it dropping?
Hasn't been bottled yet.
Okay.
We just got the TTB approval, so we've got a few little things to do, UPC and getting labels printed and little maintenance stuff. That, but I would say you'll probably see it the next month or so.
Awesome.
David, we have a friend that stops by ever so often, and her name is Nancy Fraley.
And, cool.
So
I've always wanted to talk to Nancy.
We can make that happen, David. We can definitely.
I'm sure David can make that happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, well, thank you for joining in.
Thank you, Nancy.
So she's asking, curious where you got the Pinot de Charente.
Oh, yeah.
So we used, well, it's a contact that we have through Speyside, and he works with Rideau, and he was able to get us those casks. I mean, I don't know, the chateau or the producer they came from. I'm not that geeked into the French stuff, but they were freshly dumped and wrapped and sent to us overseas. So we got a couple Armagnac and a couple Pinots, and there were 2 red Pinots and 2 white Pinots, and really enjoyed working with them because they're it's just a fun profile. I mean, a lot of people have had the cognac, Armagnac kind of thing, and I love it, but the Pinot was way different, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, maybe I'll do it again. I don't know, but yeah, that's where they came from, essentially, just knowing some people that got them to us.
So I like to educate people that are like me that don't know a lot. And so Pinot de Charente, same region as France's Armagnac, right?
I am not an expert in the grape. Nancy would be a better person to talk to on that. But from what little I know, it is more of a regional kind of dessert wine. And they do sell it at liquor stores, but it's usually the selection, unless you go to a liquor store that kind of specializes in a large variety of wine. You're usually just going to maybe find 1 or 2 labels of it, and it's usually, I would assume, pretty young stuff, because it's but then again, somebody sent me a 30-year-old Pinot that was like honey colored. It wasn't super dark or anything, and it almost drank like honey. I mean, the viscosity was really kind of almost strange. It reminded me of when I worked at Subway, and like your carbonation would run out and you would get a real syrupy drink. That it had that kind of sticky kind of thing going on. But it's a cool little niche little thing. Like there's like this whole like Pinot like fan group, like on like Instagram and like YouTube, and I don't dare enter it because like I feel like they're gonna be like, here comes this bumpkin whiskey dude, like thinks he knows all this shit about PDC and stuff.
You explained exactly how I feel in Rare Bird Discord.
Oh yeah,
because those guys are like they are experts, and I'm like I'm just soaking it all in.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
I will say the Rare Bird Discord is super helpful, but it's also super, like, you've got some purists in there, David.
Oh, we've got some geeks, and I'm one of them. But I mean, there's geeks in different categories.
I was in Japan, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for like non-chill filtered, like, and then there was like, here's this store, and like,
yeah.
Anyway, it's just like incredible.
We've got members that live in Japan and South Korea and Australia, and I mean, we've got a pretty wide group there. So we all try to help each other out, and we also drop a lot of inappropriate memes and gifs and stuff like that, but whatever,
It's great, man. It is
Rare
so
Bird
great.
101, y'all.
Rare Bird 101.
All right, so we got to shift here to turkey, and thank you, David. You're over time.
Happy to do it.
I'm going to ask the question that every turkey fan wants to know. When is the cheesy gold foil dropping, and how much will it be?
I think now that's not it, but
not that one, but yes.
Yeah, the Austin Nichols Archive.
Sorry.
Austin Nichols Archive. And there'll be other Austin Nichols Archive. But
yeah,
I believe it was just bottled this past week, I think, if I remember right. Way. So, you got a little while there. Because it's got to get boxed up, powdered up, get to the distributors, blah, 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 So it'll be a little while, but I have tried it and maybe have seen it. And I can tell you, if there's one whiskey to save up for this year and you're a wild turkey fan, do not hesitate. Save up. I don't know how much it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be, the Campari premium that we see now, but it'll be worth it. I can tell you that it is phenomenal. Now I didn't taste it at the bottling strength. I got to taste it at batch strength actually, which was pretty up there. But just incredible.
Can you tell me? Okay, sorry. How much? If you can't tell me, you can't tell me. But was it over 130?
Yes.
Batch strength.
Yes. Yep. Definitely well over that. Yeah. It was.
Are we talking
up there? We're talking that. Yeah. But that's not what it's getting bottled at. So
yes, of course.
And who knows what it landed on when it actually got batched? Because this was like last year when I was doing the SLB drinks collaboration. We did a charity barrel and for Riley's Hospital, and that's when Bruce gave me, hey, you got to try this. And it just said, the label on it was handwritten. It just said cheesy. And I was like, all right, well, twist my arm.
So, goals are Bruce. Hey, Mac, you got to try this.
It was killer. I mean, I was like, wow, that's okay. Stupid good. Yeah.
What did you pour there, Hack?
Well, this bottle is like one of the first times that, and this is, when I was, new getting into the Rare Bird Discord and all that, and I was trying to find out, like, hey, there's this store in Florida, right? And and they were like, okay, we got this really special Russell's Reserve short barrel pick, and it tastes just like the cheesy gold foil. So they put their tater sticker on it. And I'll never forget, I was so excited. I was like, oh, this should be awesome. And David was like, many a good man has fallen to that scheme.
I know. Yeah, it's not going to taste like cheesy gold. I'm sorry, but it just don't happen. I mean, even those phenomenal 13-year Camp Nelson F's that we saw, like Sting Like a Bee, and some of those, like, as fantastic and phenomenal as like Shark Buddy and Star Hill Shorty and all those are, they're not cheesy gold foil. And I don't think any of those guys would try to say that it is. They're awesome, but yeah, cheesy gold is just, I mean, I'll admit there are windows where there are better cheesy gold foils than other, but they're all high quality whiskey, and Glut era, so, if you have the chance to try one, definitely take that chance. They're just too expensive for me now. When I first got into the hobby, a bottle of cheesy gold foil was set you back $250. And now it's what, $1,000 or more. I don't know what they are. Something stupid. Yeah. I'll probably get heat for this, but I'm just going to say it. The dusty whiskey is overrated. It really is. And that is not a knock on dusty whiskey. I mean, there are dusty whiskeys that are better than others. Clearly. I mean, that exists just as much as it did back then as it does now. But some of the premiums that people are paying for some of these, I get it. It's an antique in a way. And if you're buying it for that reason, if you have a collection and you want to, that do you. If you're buying it because you want that sipping experience, again, you do you. But for me, I've kind of moved past that. Like, I treasure the dusties that I have, but I'm not going to pay $1,000, $2,000, whatever to get something like that again. There's so much to look forward to, and there's so much going on now with these smaller producers and distilling producers. Like, I'm a big fan of High Wire. I love their weeded bourbon. I love some of their single barrels, and they're doing it all themselves. You know, we mentioned Still Austin and the work that Nancy's doing with them and Tanager and all that. I mean, there's so much cool stuff out there to go. It's like, don't get stuck in a Facebook secondary group all day trying to find, you know, this George T. Stagg. They're making George T. Stagg every year, guys. They're making Pappy every year. And I love George T. Stagg and I love Pappy Van Winkle, but there's just so much out there. There's whiskey we haven't even tasted yet. I mean, for all we know, there could be some barrels sitting in a warehouse somewhere in Kentucky that's going to like be the best whiskey ever made. We don't know, you know? So don't get too caught on that. And then if you're really into the dusty profile, you can get some of those notes, some of those characteristics in other spirits like Armagnac and cognac and rum. And, you know, they are going to taste different because they're made from different things, grapes or sugar or whatever. But you will get some of those, you know, tobacco, leather, pruny kind of things going on that you get in a lot of those dusty whiskeys. So don't feel like you have to spend a paycheck to get a bottle because, you know, at the end of the day, you're just going for a flavor experience. And there are tons of flavor experiences out there that are just as good as that one.
With all that said, David, what's your favorite dusty turkey?
Oh, that's tough. Because, I mean, there's just so many. But, you know, sentimental would be, you know, probably 81, 101 8-year. So 1981, 101 sentimentally, because that was like the first dusty turkey I had, and it blew my mind. And, you know, that you know, was, and then that's the first year Eddie started. I mean, it's kind of a sentimental thing. But, you know, it comes down to a couple. Like, I did a blind tasting on the mashup with Kenny, and I had to order, like, to me, I was going to say it was the MDS, the 2000, you know, was it 2006, whatever, MDS. I was confident that was going to be number one, you know, and it wasn't number one. I think it was the 85 Cheesy Goldfold that ended up beating it. That or Tribute, the export Tribute. So, but I mean, then you could have like something that's not all that old, that's not like a dusty per se, like Russell's 1998, which there's no way I'm paying the money to get one now. But I mean, Russell's 1998, I feel like could legitimately compete with some of those, and, you know, would maybe even rank over some of those. So, you know, it just, there's so many flavors to explore. So yeah, if you really want to get into the dusty turkey and you've got that kind of cash, look at 85 and 88 CGF, look at donuts, you know, look at split labels, look at Tribute, both the export and the domestic one. And just, there's so many, you know, whiskeys you can try, but so much out there. I mean, don't feel like you have to spend a fortune for a bottle because somebody said it changed their life, you know. So, and thank you, Nancy. That's cool.
Yeah,
thank you,
Nancy. We'll send you some Caleb's Crossing.
You've got to try it. You've got to try these Caleb's Crossing.
Oh, that'd be awesome,
Nancy. Yeah, I'd love to hear what Nancy thinks. Yeah. All right. So I have right now Russell's Renegade's pick here. This is Tyrone B, floor 4, 9 years.
Family Affair.
This is I think it's just called,
What year is that one?
This was last year.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
early last year.
A J Hobb one, I think. it was a Bourbon Outfitter pick.
Yeah. And so my question to you, David, which this thing is killing blinds and I love
Tyrone B. I think Tyrone B makes
is Tyrone the new Camp Nelson?
I mean, so here's the thing. A lot of people ask, what's the best warehouse?
Right,
you know, whatever.
Right.
It depends on so many things, the run, the cooperage, the seasons, all. But, you know, so I've found that every year kind of has their all-stars.
Yeah.
So there's not one that's like the best, although you could say if you average it all out, there are some that have more hits than others, right? But in theory, any barrel from anywhere, in theory, it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat. I mean, you don't know until you open it, you know? And like any barrel, and that is one of the coolest things about doing a barrel pick is like, it's like there is a universe inside that barrel. and you won't experience it until you pop that bung and thieve it, you know? And so, it really, any barrel from anywhere could in theory be phenomenal, right? But I tend to lean more Camp Nelson. You know, I'm a big fan of Camp Nelson B, Camp Nelson D, Camp Nelson F. E's had some. I mean, okay, I'm just starting to say every Camp Nelson warehouse now. So,
but maybe not. Maybe Tyrone.
Yeah,
but has Tyrone not been tapped?
Tyrone has some, like the M's.
Sorry, no. Has Camp Nelson not been tapped? I think some people are saying that.
Oh, they refill it all the time. I mean, they're
single. Yeah, but
I mean, you're always putting new stock in there. I mean, you know it, and that's another thing too. And I talked to Eddie about this one time before. Is you don't just fill up a warehouse with all new make. I mean, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you make sure that you rotate these things, but not barrel rotation in the maker's mark sense, where you're taking the top floor and the bottom floors and you're leaving the middle floor where it's at. This is more like, you know, you reach a certain point where you move barrels out of one warehouse into another one, maybe because it was on the 6th floor and it's kind of reached this point where it needs to drop down. So you know you're going to bottle it probably in the next year. So you bring it back to Tyrone, you stick it on, you know, one of these palletized warehouse on the 1st floor to sit there and rest or whatever, you know. So, but you don't just fill a whole warehouse with new makes. So like when they build a new rick house, they're not just filling it with new stuff. They're taking different stuff and filling it up. So it's some new, some not so old, some old. And you do that for multiple reasons. The main one being, if you lose that rick house, you don't want to like lose all your best stuff. And you also don't want to lose all your newest stuff either. So it's like you kind of move this stuff around and spread it all out so that if something happens, you still got inventory across the board.
Yeah. So I think we're going to do one. We'd like to finish this with one pour. And I don't know, did you already work on this with David before? I don't know if David's got this one close to him, which this is.
What's that?
He didn't. So we do this thing on our channel called #OneMorePour.
Okay.
Usually it's not exactly one. But when we start talking one more pour, and it started from me and Mac hanging out with buddies, and we're like, all right, we're going to do one more.
One more.
Like, oh, and then we're going to do one more. Because it's just, you know, you get in those modes, right? And it's a dream of ours to drink Beacon with you.
Oh, sweet. I can do that.
Awesome.
Just give me a second. I just got to I got to move a few bottles to get to it. But give me just one second.
All right.
Awesome.
I love it.
Awesome.
Let's finish that. Wow. So you heard it here. So, you know, I do think the Camp Nelson question, though, was good, though. I think some people are like, well, you know, the single rick house, all that stuff. It's, you know, Camp Nelson, we got to move on, Tyrone, you know. But no, they keep refilling that stuff, y'all. Everyone settle down. All right, I got to get this down.
Yeah, get yours done.
Everyone's going to watch my shelves fall.
I apologize to everybody for my poor audio tonight. I'm at my aunt's house. She passed away last year. It's my wife's aunt, and we had to clean out her house, so I'm not at home. So again, I apologize for the.
It's all right. Oh, there he is.
This is a dream.
That's getting low, David. But thank you.
Oh, it's slow, all right.
What did?
So we watched you on Mash and Drum, and you know, spoiler alert. I mean, you can watch it now, but like this was your favorite Master Speak, right, David?
Yep. Yeah. It's, you know, before we did that blind, I was convinced that Revival is still my favorite, and sentimentally it is. I think that you know, when it comes to sherry finished bourbon, like there's plenty of sherry finished rye and malted whiskey and all this, but when it comes to sherry finished bourbon, I've never really had one like really impress me until Revival. And Revival, Eddie just did such a phenomenal job with that. Now it's great as a blend component, like in Joseph Magnus and this kind of stuff, but I mean, like just sherry, right? Just a sherry finished bourbon. That 12 to 15 year, you know, old still wild turkey, you know, that spent a very, very, I think it was like 3 months. It wasn't like a very long time. It was a pretty short time. And it just is so well balanced. It still tastes like wild turkey. It has all the bourbon notes it should, and the finish notes really accent everything appropriately. You get a lot of that dried fruit. You get a lot of that leather, you know, the nuttiness from the sherry, like all of that just works so well in Revival. It came out number 2. Revival came out number 2 in the blind with Jason for me. And Beacon came out on top. Beacon is just a beast. It's very complex turkey. Probably, we were talking about this the other night on Discord, and somebody mentioned that, it might be the most complex turkey. And I was like, I think you might be right. I mean, there's just so much going on in this one. And I could see
something different every time I do it. I get something different every time I do it. And it's all stuff I love.
And there are some people that weren't as impressed with it, as I was, but I don't think, there's some people that really don't want too much complexity in their whiskey. And I think maybe that, might have been a reason, because you do have to kind of think with this one. Like, it hits you and you're like, whoa, what am I getting here? It's like you have to kind of pick it out. And it's probably the most tobacco laden turkey that I know of. I mean, there's just a lot of tobacco in this one. Some people like those notes, some people don't. There's no right or wrong, but to me, I find a good bit of tobacco in this one, and it sings. And to think that there's tenure in here, like, everybody looks at these 17-year-old Masters keeps and all that is like the pinnacle, and it's got the 16-year in it, but it's also got a good bit of tenure in it. And I was thinking, ooh, that price tag, for a 10-year whiskey, that's that's a ballsy move, right? And it earned it. It got my respect. I'm like, wow, okay, this is worth it.
Did you? I did the same thing that I think everyone. Oh, cheers! So let's just drink this. I'll shut up.
Yeah, cheers. God, it's so good. It's just like, that's so good.
Oh, it is. Oh,
that's fantastic. That's my. I didn't do the whiskey list, best of or whatever, but this is my whiskey of the year. I mean, for last year, easily.
I thought it was.
Same. I did the thing that I shouldn't have done this, David. When I tried this, I grabbed Russell's 15 right after, and I that happens, right? So people, and I think we all do this when we start getting bigger and bigger collections of whiskey, and we get into a certain brand, and is this better than that? And I think that becomes a thing. Russell's 15 obviously is like one of the best whiskeys of all time, in my opinion. But people are asking, hey, do you like this better than Russell's 15? For me, I did like this better, and it happened in a blind, and then just next to each other. But how do you feel about it versus 15? And do you get what I'm saying, where it's like, don't reach for a fifth, don't reach for something, just enjoy it. But those two questions for you: how do you compare it, or do you compare it? That's the question.
Real quick, thank you, Nancy. I did not know that, so I will have to look into that more. But thank you. So Russell's 15 versus Beacon, this comes up a lot, you know, because they came out back to back, 24, 25. They're two different pies. It's like, do you like cherry pie? Do you like blueberry pie? Whatever, you know. Yeah. And it's like, I think Cam from Drums and Dram put it best when he said that Russell's 15 does one thing really well. Like, it just does one thing perfectly. It's this dark fruit, super oak kind of vibe from nose to finish. And it just stays on that train and just keeps driving straight in the most perfect weather and everything. I mean, it's just like awesome, right? Whereas Beacon it's a ride. It's a wild ride. It's like, it noses a certain way, it tastes a certain way, it finishes out a totally different way. It's like, it is a ride. And I can understand the folks that appreciate Russell's 15 more, because it is very comfortable, very familiar, and it is perfect. I mean, it's just like it's just what you would want a 15-year bourbon to be. Beacon is more of a geek whiskey. It's more of a nerdy thing, and it's like, it's that whole kind of like, some people are Rush fans and some people aren't, and like, this is like a Rush album. I mean, this has a bunch of shit going on, right? And whereas like Beacon is a little bit more of like, like Appetite for Destruction. It's just like one thing from start to finish. It is like, that album has one sound and it's perfectly done, nobody's wrong on these. It really, it's like, it's whatever your vibe is. There are nights where I would rather have Russell's 15 over Beacon, and there are nights I'd rather have
Yes.
Beacon over Russell's 15. But if you put a gun to my head and said, which one is the best whiskey, I'm going to say Beacon. And there's really one main reason why. Russell's 15 is a certain lot of the same barrels that were all mostly phenomenal. I mean, I'm sure they had to pick through and cull some of them. I mean, there's no way they were all perfect, but I mean, it was a lot of barrels that were just had a fantastic profile, and they dumped it and and it was well over hazmat. And Eddie proofed it down to the proof point he felt like it performed best. And I think he nailed it at that 117 zone. So it's more of a curation thing. It's like you taste it, you find the right barrels, you dump them, you batch them and you bottle it, right? You proof it down, whatever. And did that perfectly, well executed. Whereas Beacon, I mean, you're talking about taking these 16-year-old barrels and then blending it with some 10-year whiskey. The 16-year came from the old still that no longer exists. Well, it's on display in the visitor center, but and then you have the 10-year, which is from the new still, and the 10-year was actually whiskey that Jimmy had Bruce make by hand the old-fashioned way. And lo and behold, I would love to taste that 10-year on its own, because it's got to taste phenomenal, because I mean, you're basically, spec wise, it looks like you're downgrading the blend, right? You're taking it from a 16 and you're dropping it to a 10-year. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I feel like if there was a modern turkey that showed off the blending capabilities of Eddie and Bruce, then this is the one I would say that you would need to try.
You've mentioned this before, and I think, getting into the sentimental, nerdy value is how often in history of all whiskeys made did you have 3 generations of master distiller families sitting in the same place, coming together to create something together, and when will it ever happen again?
Yeah, it's I understand that you go way back and you're looking at a lot of these family-run distilleries, and there were plenty of family members doing this and that, and the Rippies had tons of brothers and sisters and stuff involved in the business and all this. But there's a very unique thing in the modern age here to have, Jimmy, Eddie, and Bruce there. I feel very lucky to be a bourbon enthusiast at this time. And I feel lucky to have started when I started, because even though I started after the boom began, post Mad Men, all this kind of stuff, it was still early enough to kind of experience it with a fresh set of eyes, that to find stories that had not been told yet. And in a lot of ways, that's where my first book came from, is because nobody had really truly told the wild turkey story. They had pieces of this, pieces of that, different people had focused on things. And so to kind of bring it all together into one narrative, I feel very fortunate to have come in at a time where that didn't exist until I did that. To see them, come from a brand that had been so big in the 50s and 60s, and then just took that slump down and really glutted out like everybody else. They held on, they didn't cave in. Jimmy kept making whiskey, but they weren't doing so well in the 80s and the 90s. And then to come back, and not just come back and have a product that's financially successful, but to have the acclaim that they have, to produce the high level of premium spirits that they're producing now, all with that stigma of wild turkey, because, when I was growing up, when I was in college and stuff, wild turkey was the shooter. I mean, it was like, that was what you did to get messed up and go out and party, right? Yeah, it was not something you did not drink wild turkey. You shot wild turkey. And any of the old timers that drank it, they were crazy, right? So to overcome that stigma, of the brand that was the kind of viewed as not glut, but a bottom shelf, or rot gut, or whatever you want to say, to come to where they're at now, pretty amazing, because that's not where they were when I got started in the hobby. I mean, you could find Diamond and Masters Keep 17 just sitting around everywhere collecting dust. I mean, people were giving it away, you know. And there were old. You could find dusty turkey just sitting on shelves if you went hunting. I mean, people cleaned out the Stitzel-Weller stuff, you know, a year or two before all the turkey, maybe even earlier than that. Even the old granddad stuff was going quickly, the National Distiller stuff. But you know, it didn't take long, and then people realized, oh, wild turkey's awesome, and then, you know, then it all was over with. But as far as trying to find the old stuff, but it's amazing that to see them all three enjoying this moment in the spotlight of kind of bringing the brand to a higher level than it's ever been before.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think Dave, you know, yeah. First of all, like Wild Turkey's my favorite, you know, distillery, and so I just like, first of all, thank you for, you know, and I think in a world of like, which also I get it. Hack's like the one that like actually does all the work on this channel, and I just kind of jump on here, David. I don't know if you've seen this, and he's like actually you know, the reason that we have some great things on here, but like the YouTube algorithm of slapping a bottle on the table, zooming in on it, doing a 30-second short that gets 30,000 views. That's what we are all have to do apparently now. Thank you for taking your time and writing your thoughts out. And like, I think like that's that will never go away, because that is, you know, what matters a lot more than this. what Hack and I are doing, but I just want to say that. So,
well, thank you. I do think with the AI world, there is going to be a return to a long form, because it's going to reach a point where these shorts can be so quickly done with AI, where it basically like you can just scan your face and bottle whatever, and it'll make the video for you. I mean, that stuff's coming. I mean, you know, I watched some AI thing the other day where it was like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt duking it out, and it looked real. And I'm like,
I know, like,
well, video whiskey content's going to die soon, because, you know, the shorts are going to be, but not a long form, not interviews, not things of substance and depth, and you know, so as long as that's still out there, it's going to be fine. And I appreciate that. Writing is just a form of media that I enjoy. If you enjoy, you know, photography or you know, video, or even if you make whiskey music, whatever, you know, you know, I used to you know, write songs and play guitar and really enjoyed it and everything. And now it's pretty wild because you can like have AI do it for you. Like I took some of these old demos that like I recorded when I was like 18 years old. I'll be 50 this year, and uploaded them to Suno, and it like created these like full songs. I'm like, holy crap, this sounds like a CD or something. But then it felt cheap. So I'm like, whatever. This is kind of cheap, but you know, but it's wild. I just really went off on a tangent there. I'm sorry, but AI content exists, and I think that people are learning how to kind of filter that and learning. And when you have more in-depth content, people recognize that, and they will follow you, and they will watch or read or listen or whatever, because it's hard to manufacture genuine emotion. I mean, if we ever get to that point and it's Blade Runner, oh well, but we're not there right now.
Yeah, that's true.
This has been incredible for us, David. And
well, thank you.
Like for Mac and I, we're fortunate. We've got real jobs that do really well. We do this because we like to have fun, and this has been like one of the most fun nights we've ever had. Just hanging out, getting to
I enjoyed
let
it.
you do this with us, and so incredibly grateful for that. And I would also tell you, like, I think what you've got with Caleb's Crossing, we've got to get this in the hands of some of our friends that like things like the reveries. Like if you like this,
I love Jay's stuff.
Get into some of this, because there's some similarities going on.
He's got the Raven.
Hey,
which one?
A Raven that's dying is like, you know, he's kind of on the last third of his life.
You can just tell, David, the amount of passion and care and detail that goes into what you do. And whether that's your writing or now your whiskey.
Oh, thank you.
It shows.
Yeah.
And we're a no bullshit channel, and there would be no reason for us to say that if it wasn't true. Yep. And that's what I appreciate about what you do. And I know a lot of other people do too.
Well, thank you.
So keep making killer whiskey and keep doing what you're doing, because man, we love it. Like,
well, thank you. Cheers to that. Thank you.
Cheers. Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers. Thanks so much, David, for joining
All
us.
right. Well, we'll have to do it again one day.
I would love that.
Absolutely.
And then,
Let's do it in person. Let's do it.
Maybe get Nancy on and school me a little bit.
oh, there we go. That's the next.
So you say that Nancy has been invited, and Nancy, if you're still watching, I'm still waiting, but Nancy's been invited, David, to come on in this month of March where we've got like all these killers on that we don't deserve. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun, and open invite to you anytime in the world you want to come on. So
all right, maybe I can get to try Tanager too one day. I'd just love to try it out because I love the first one so much. I kind of keep it hidden a little bit.
I think
might have it tonight though.
I think we probably have some people that can help you with that there, David.
I'm not meaning it like a solicitation or anything. I just like if somebody wants, if we're on a show, I'm sure
you're going to get a bunch of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey,
appreciate that.
Cheers.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Cheers. Whoa. Wow. I mean, come on. What a great guy. And then just like spent a lot more time than he should have. He just that was incredible. I hope everyone liked that. I personally just love that. I'm a huge turkey fan, and then David Jennings, I always look at his reviews, and so nerding out myself, Hack.
My AirPods just went out, so
this is great actually. This is much better.
If it's bad, y'all let me know.
This is much better.
I got to tell y'all, I just have to keep pinching myself.
I know, right?
I'm sitting here listening to David talk about turkey and talking to Bruce and getting to try. He got to try cheesy gold foil at Cask string. I'm just going to ask this question and just see if he's going to answer it. And then he answered it. It was so awesome. It was so freaking awesome. And then to drink this with David. And you know what? You know what I like about this? We didn't make one note.
No,
we just drank the whiskey and we enjoyed it. And sometimes, I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, how special, man, to be able to taste. And then it just shows anyway, everyone knew Beacon was great, but really cool to hear him talk about it and his history with turkey and his history where he's just casually like, hey, Bruce is like, hey, why don't you try this? Are you kidding me?
So awesome. I'm not kidding though. Once I got the wax off of that dual cask, that thing is killer. It is a cigar blend. He's not calling it that, but that's a cigar blend whiskey. We should do Hack in the future, blind a bunch of them. But at the same time, man, that thing is just what I get with his finish stuff is this level of elevation where the great bourbon still stands out. And you're right. We just did one tasting note, I think, with that. But if you guys really like that sort of what's happening right now with that cigar blend where you have some of that port finish or whatever, this is a bit more elevated where you get that whiskey, but you also get that finish in a perfect way. I'm really impressed. And it's not overdone. It's not an over finished whiskey, right? I think finishes can be so overdone, and it's not overdone.
Wait, JG.
All right, I'm going to start.
Hey, I already have one, JG.
Tell me what we're drinking next, but this is where it gets a little tricky because I'm on an iPad and I'm going to try to be loading some names, and this is going to be super tricky because I've got one screen. So
yeah. Well, go ahead and start doing it, Hack. And since you have no screen, I'm taking you off, and I am just going to say thank you all for being here. I hope this has been fun. If this is your first time here, it's very understandable because David Jennings being on here is new to us, and that means a lot to us. And what Hack and I do is we'd like to have fun. We love whiskey, and we really care about this community. And so, yeah, that's what we do here. Every Sunday night, we go 9/8 Central. We got some cool guests coming up. We just did our first pick with Jay West, the Reverie stuff, which is going to be incredible. Jay's coming out at the end of the month. We have Ian coming up from MGP. It's going to be great. So Hack, I see you there.
I'm
You
going to go
good?
get my laptop.
All right, good.
I know it's going to be a little clunky, y'all, but I'm going to go get my laptop because then it has all my bookmarks, has all that. And then I can have two screens. And
Yeah.
so if you could just.
I just cut you. Oh, sorry. I just cut you off early. Just go, buddy. Just go. But I have to talk about Louisville really quick. Which this is when everyone logs off and they're like, okay, cool. You had the actual cool person in here. Last weekend I had it was my birthday weekend, and I was like, hey, I sent a text to a couple folks. I want to go to Louisville. Who wants to come? And man, it was just so great. We had a whole crew, and Hack and Ed and Tim and like Brian and Tyler and obviously Mama Hack and then my girlfriend Naomi, and like it was epic. We had such an epic time. And we actually down in Louisville, we picked up a couple bottles that I think are really cool, and I think actually Hack and I might be cracking one tonight to end this, if not one more pour. And I don't even know if we're gonna do one more pour because we're almost at 2 hours. But you know what? This is a new thing for us, so we're figuring this out. But Louisville was incredible. We got to do a lot of stuff. We did an incredible Heaven Hill tour in their new Heaven Hill Springs facility, which is just an awesome place after that Heaven Hill fire. If you've not been to Heaven Hill, you got to go. We got to try the Heaven Hill Unity. We brought home some Heaven Hill Unity, which is great. I got to get the Pour Your Own Elijah Craig rye, as did Brian and Tim. And I have to say, that thing is incredible. I think it's at 134 proof. I know the A126, if I'm saying this right, chat, correct me, is great. I have not tried that yet, but Elijah Craig's barrel proof ryes that are coming out, this Pour Your Own. If you go down to Louisville, book the Elijah Craig rye Pour Your Own. I don't know if it's if you can tell if it's a rye or not, but that's the best stuff. Okay, I'm gonna get here into the chat and Hack. How are you doing? You good?
I'm doing good. If y'all don't
Okay.
mind me, I'll work and talk, and I can.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
are we
I'll keep
pouring
rolling.
something, or are we waiting a minute?
Yeah, so Hack, I'm talking about Louisville right now, where it's I think we have one thing we were going to crack from the weekend, and I think it's that Evan Williams Pegasus. Do you have that?
I do have it, but it has wax on it.
Well, guess what? You should open it on camera. Anyway, you keep how great was Louisville? How great was that trip, man?
This is my 4th time, I think, to go to Louisville, and it was by far the best trip I've ever had. It was that good. It was just an incredible, incredible time. We've got all of these cool videos too that I'm backlogged on. And something I was going to mention, David talked about, and you mentioned it too. You talked about how in today's whiskey world, you've got to slap a bottle on a table and do a quick zoom and do this and whatever to get followers. And, I can walk into a liquor store in California and buy a bottle of Garrison Brothers and it gets 10,000 views.
Yeah.
And I can go with you to the Reveries, to a place that most people will never see. They'll never that. And it'll get 500 views. And one of the things about us that's really cool is it doesn't matter. I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I really don't give a shit that I do one video that gets 10,000, because I'm not trying to do this for money. I'm not trying to do this for fame. I'm just doing this because what we love. So if I'm, walk into a liquor store and shoot a video, just know it's not to get viewers. It's because I think maybe there's something fun I can show y'all. That's all. And I think that's what Louisville was about for me, is that it was just having fun with your friends and having some good whiskey, and enjoyed doing that with you and all our other buddies. And it just felt so good, man. It just felt so good to just be hanging out, having a good time. And obviously the channel, we shot videos and did that, but that wasn't the central focus, right? It was really more about hanging out. The hotel lobby share at Hotel Distill.
Which, by the way,
I think we showed out, right?
Hotel Distill is great, and shout out them. I'm literally riding on the Hotel Distill thing here, but yeah, Hack. I mean, it was so incredible, and thank you for you've been a busy man. Thank you for taking time to come to Louisville and drink a bunch of incredible whiskey with me.
Yeah.
But how cool is this bottle? Like,
yeah. So can I talk about how the wheel is going to take a little longer? If
yes,
I talk.
Please.
Is that okay? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Is everybody good if the wheel takes? Okay. All right. So
I think we're just rolling, baby.
We went to Evan Williams early at opening to see, are they going to drop anything? I was really looking for Evan Williams 23, honestly, is what I was looking for. And when we got there, one of the ladies there was super kind, super nice. She started talking about the bottles that they have, and they had Old Fitz 9, which again, a lot of people have to camp out to get that bottle, but they had it at Evan Williams opening. And
which
that's one
awesome.
tip I would give y'all is that some people don't relate Evan Williams to Heaven Hill for whatever reason, but they do some of the Heaven Hill hard to find stuff at Evan Williams. So then she said, we also have something called Pegasus. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Like, what the hell is Pegasus? Well, what it actually is a release that they do just before the Derby. And it comes with this little packet that you can get a little medallion in. And the little medallion, it kind of looks like this. And this medallion gives you free access to several of the Kentucky Derby events that go on the entire month before the Derby. But also, if that little medallion is gold, you get entered into a lottery type thing where you can win up to $20,000.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing. But the whiskey itself is really cool too, do you know much about the whiskey, or you want me to talk about the whiskey?
Yeah, so I think we're at 11 years. This is Evan Williams single barrel, and it was picked, I think, just how many barrels did they have? Like only 3 single barrels, I think, for this Hack. And it's 11. Right. It's an 11-year, which, if you guys remember this, do you remember when the Evan Williams? Anyway, some of this stuff is just like hard to find in history, and now like it's kind of back. But if you look at the color of this 11-year single barrel at 108 proof, by the way, Act just disappeared on me, but we're gonna keep rolling. But also, yeah, so this is gonna be cool. This is one of those things that I feel like it's just one of those things that unless you go to Louisville, you're not gonna get. And I really wanted to crack this with our community here, Hack, because just a special weekend for me. And like the Evan Williams experience, like the whole Whiskey Row, like how great is Whiskey Row? And like I think we got to get into this maybe next week a bit more, Hack, but like the Whiskey Row experience and everything, like Pursuit and like Forester and all that was just incredible. So
yeah, we got a video coming, y'all, that I think you guys will really enjoy. I don't know how many views it will get, I don't really care, but like I sent an email to Heaven Hill before we did this. Is it Spring Hill? Is that the name of the new
Heaven
facility?
Hill Springs.
Heaven Hill Springs. It's their brand new facility. The only way you can get there is you book a tour, and they take you over there. And at the end of the tour, you can buy the Unity bottle, which we're going to get into that in a future show. But they were kind enough to let me film the entire thing and mic up the. Oh, you okay?
That almost went in my eye. Anyway, all right.
Your knife skills. Don't pull a Robert Paul and come up missing digits. Don't.
I would never pull a Robert Paul.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So anyway, I think that our video, unless I'm mistaken, when it releases, hopefully I'll have it out next week or so. It'll be the first ever behind the scenes tour of the new spring facility at Heaven Hills.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't either. And man, how beautiful is that bar?
That bar is awesome.
I mean, incredible. Wow, you did that much easier than me. All right. You win this one. I won the Detling. You win the Heaven Hill. You win the Evan Williams. You win the Evan Williams. All right.
I did not win the Caleb's Crossing.
Dude, that Caleb's Crossing was a beat.
It was hard to open.
It was worth it though.
Ooh, nice pop.
Ooh, you're a little nicer than mine.
So yeah, let's do a little Evan Williams.
Which, like, How do you Evan Williams? You a big Evan Williams fan, Nick?
So we did that blind with Evan Williams 12, and I loved that bottle.
I know, man. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nose is so good. It smells older.
Oh shit, it really does. And by the way, for y'all who are just watching, this is that Kentucky Derby Festival. How cool is that horseshoe right there?
The little pin on it. Yeah,
It's
I love it.
beautiful. All right.
And I guess they just do it once a year, like right before Derby.
And I think this last year was the first year they did this. I could be wrong, but
I think you're right. Cheers, Mac.
Cheers, buddy. Oh. This is one of those drinkers, man. This is one of those like
you crush this
night. Oh, you could just sit there all night. That 108 proof for this is perfect.
We've had some killer pours tonight, and this holds up.
I know, right? We're doing this after Beacon. Okay, people are telling us to check our phones.
Oh, it's Jay. I don't have time.
Jay,
the wheel.
Jay and Marty, y'all chill out. I will not be showing this. We will not be showing this to the community.
No, that's not. No, we're not going to put Mac in a quilted onesie. No quilted onesies. No.
That is just too far. And what I'm wearing right now, my quilted Louisville garb, is classy. Okay.
It is classy. Yeah.
All right.
Isaac says it's an annual release. Has been around for several years. See, I've never heard of it.
I thought last year was the first time they did that, Isaac. No, I could be wrong. Well, hey,
that's Lance, but he goes by Isaac. Very confusing.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, we learned something. Hey, I've got to enter names if we ever want to get out of here. And if I go off screen,
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Why don't you go off screen, please? All right, in the chat. Let's go to chat. Yeah, and he released several years. So tell me, what did you think about David? How cool was that to hear from him trying the new Austin Nichols? I forget what I say cheesy gold foil. I forget what the formal TTB label is, but how cool is that? And the fact I know that Russell's 15 cast strength came in over Has, I think it was over 150. I assume that's what's happening to this 16. The fact he gets to try that's incredible. Classy. Thank you, Robert. I'm assuming you're talking about the garb, and I will just say thank you. Crab Coach, what's up, Warren? Jealous you can't pull off. Warren, I would love to see you in this old fits. Just sort of I think you could rock this, man. You are underestimating yourself. You're underestimating yourself. What's up, Brad? You need to get a CGF. Yeah. I have a rare breed here that just came in. Not cracked that yet. I'm excited. Yep, I'm with you, buddy. Hi, Candace from Joyce Paul. What's up, Joyce Paul? Welcome. That lid. Look at that. Yeah, David, he has so much. Yeah, we could have sat here for 4 hours and we would have been on the floor at the end, but it would have been epic. And he was so gracious to spend time, all that time with us. How can you not show everyone your pickle costume? Okay. Can we talk about the pickle thing? So if you're a member, which this is probably going to drive a bunch of new members to our channel, which here's the thing, we're trying to figure out what to do here. And our members are going to be YouTube based members. So we have a Discord, but you have to connect your Discord to the YouTube to be a member. And we have picks coming up. So if you're a member of Hack and Mac on YouTube, you will be getting the link for our picks first. And so we encourage that. We'd love to have you as part of the community. What is it? I think it's like $5 or $10 to be a member. That's purposeful. We are not trying to make money here. We want to have an awesome whiskey community. We also want to make sure that if we do picks, that we value those who have been here for a while first, right? So we care about the community. It's not about how much you give us.
It's $4 or $6. One of the two.
Oh, 4 or 6, not even 5. All right. So
you were adding the two. It's 4 or 6, like
yeah,
not 10. It's $4 or $6. Thank you.
That's great. But you get what I'm saying? Like that's get him out of here. Get him out of here. So that's what's going on. Our Discord just launched last week and it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for those who post in the Discord. It's been so cool to meet some new folks. And then also we have a new whiskey reviews channel. I want to hear your reviews. I loved what David said tonight about the different levels of vanilla, because I think once you start tasting whiskey, it's just about thinking of those different things, right? It's thinking of, hey, I've had vanilla in a bunch of different ways. I've had vanilla ice cream. I've had vanilla in creme brulee. I've had vanilla, in like cheap, the Kroger vanilla extract, or I've had the like fancy vanilla bean, right? Like we've had the range of flavors. That was so cool, right? What is the Discord link for the members? So I will ask our our mods here, or Hack. Let's get him up here. All right.
Fucking A. All right. So to get to our Discord, if you're a YouTube member, there's something called posts, and you have to scroll all the way to the right. It's after shorts, it's after videos, it's after all that. And if you scroll all the way over, you'll see a YouTube member only post. It has a Discord invite link. Oh, the previous link doesn't work anymore. Oh shit. Okay. Well, I'll have to post a new one then. I thought that I did it where it didn't expire. I will post a new link. If not tonight, tomorrow. I'll post a new link. But YouTube members will get it there. There's a post on our YouTube page, and that's how you can get in the Discord.
Yeah. Mac average. Yep. Okay. I think I understand what that means. Yes, I am. Okay, I'm average. Yeah. But so the pickle talk. So just so you know, what you're missing, if you're not a Hack and Mac YouTube member, is a members only videos where I talk about the pickle club that I'm in. And some of those who know this may have taken AI and this hat and combined the pickle love, and they went too far. And so we're not going to talk about that on the stream. We're a classy stream here only. And I think pickles are great, and maybe we're gonna do some pickle reviews, which I know everyone is just dying to have here. Thank you, Golder Deer 9521. Thank you. What's good? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been awesome, Dennis. What's the Discord link? Yep. So Hack's gonna share that. Yeah. So I am really interested, Steve Paul, in this Knob Creek Blenders edition. It's starting to. I think it just dropped up around me in Virginia. I love me some Knob Creek. Brad, I have a Wild Turkey Stampede 55, 96 Wild Turkey, the 70th anniversary. I got it. Yeah. Brad, you're the man. Which, by the way, Brad, we're going to shout out Brad at Chattahoochee. Drop the Chattahoochee there in the thread. And then also Whiskey Kids from Candace and Jake. Y'all are awesome. Awesome communities. And I think also Hack and I are here to support all that because that's what this whole thing's about. Gates, thank you so much for being a YouTube member. I hope you'll find like this is a cool community. We have some really great guests coming up. Hack and I don't take ourselves too seriously. Thank God. If we did, it'd be a problem, and I'd be super offended about what people do every week with AI and the choice of clothes I wear. Discord's really good. Once you learn, yeah, I remember the first time I was like, "What the heck is Discord?" It took me a bit. Once I got used to the Discord stuff, it's been really fun. I have some awesome friends there. Will there be an after dark chat tonight on Discord? Dennis, I don't know. I feel like
I can do it.
Whoa. All right, it's on.
At least one pour. At least one pour.
At one pour. All right.
Here's what's going to be highly entertaining. The iPad version of StreamYard does not allow me to share my screen. So I just loaded that entire wheel and I sent you a link in Discord. You, sir, are going to have to click on that link in Discord and share your screen, and you got to spin the wheel tonight.
I have to do something?
Yeah. How do you like this Evan Williams, by the way?
I'm loving this Evan Williams, man.
It's really good, right?
It's so good. It is so freaking good. All right.
I can't share pictures. I can't share images. I don't know. The iPad version, the only thing I could do is invite people to join us, but I can't.
No, I got it, man.
I can't do anything here. I'm handicapped, my friend.
And then also, I know we also had maybe we'll do the Mictors in the.
Yeah, I would love. Well, let's do that one more pour. Let's go to Discord. Let's have one pour after over this. There.
Yeah.
Let's spin this wheel. See if you can get the link up.
I've got it right here. But Hack, before we spin this wheel, we've got some cool guests coming up, right?
This is an epic month, and Nancy showed up tonight. Holy shit!
I know, right?
Incredible. So I've been texting with her, and she's been working on some things on her side. But out of this month, right? There's 4 weeks in a month magically. That's how it works. And
wait, what? Okay.
Yeah. And we've had 3 guests. We had David, we have Ian Sturzman, which if you don't know who Ian is, you'll know when I wear my shirt.
Ian is, if you don't know Ian, you have had all of Ian's whiskey all the time. Anyway.
And they're seeing my ceiling now because I did that. Okay. So the Ian Sturzman, and then GP. None other than DJ West of the Reveries, the Provenance, Take, all that is joining us to end the month. So I said, you know what? We're missing one more week. Why don't we just make this the most epic March of all time, and I'll invite Nancy. So stay tuned. We'll see.
Oh, damn. I think I got this pulled up, but Hack, what makes this different from any other Evan Williams you've had? Because this actually gets kind of close to that 12-year, which I love, but with some.
I get a lot of age on this. It's got a lot of nice oak and caramel.
You little punk. Here's the thing. I tried to trap you and you still won. Because you'd said a note that David loved.
Was I wrong?
No, you weren't. Anyway, you got it. Yeah, we're doing the Discord. We're doing one more pour in the Discord.
Yeah, we'll go to Discord. We're gonna spin the wheel. We'll go to Discord. We'll hang out for a little bit. We'll have some pours. And again, I'm sorry for all the audio issues tonight from my end. We have 3 drawings tonight. I got to get up the notes on my phone because I'm going to write down the winners so we don't forget, Mac.
Yeah, and Hack, one of the things he had to do, which there was an echo, which is why you sound much better now, but the echo was doing the thing. So
I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm again not in my home. Guys, I have had 24 days and 3 nights on my bed. That's the world I'm living in.
24 days and 3 nights? What are you saying? Wait, you had
in the last 24 days, I've been in my bed 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll get better, but it's just it's been a wild ride lately.
It has. Well, I think it's been great. It's great to see you, my friend. I miss you. We've had 2 weekends together and now you're not here.
I know it's been This week was hard, right? It was hard.
I don't know what I'm doing without you.
If you come to the Discord after dark and you're a YouTube member, I will share the Mac pickle image.
Which apparently JG's already dropped it. All right. What am I doing here?
Okay, we need to spin this sucker. I need you to spin it 101 times for Rare Bird 101.
Okay, cool. Wait.
No kidding. I don't know. How many times you want to shuffle?
Well, there's no shuffle option.
What? There's no shuffle option on this?
We're going for it.
If I shuffle on my side, I send you a new link, or we could just spin it.
Do it. Shuffle it. Shuffle it 3 times, and then send me a new link.
Then I have to send you a new link.
I think we can do this, guys. We can do this.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
This happened last time, lol. Thank you, Tyler, for helping me with the chat last time. Little Barry's out. He says, peace, great show. Thank you, Little Barry, for watching us. Yeah, we're very late, and David's not here. I don't know why anyone's still watching us, so it means a lot to us.
We still have 64 people watching this shit show. Thank y'all.
Mac, Mrs. Hack, we're talking about pickles. This stream's going left fast. That's the truth. How is the younger guy worse at tech? That did you hear that, Hack? How is the younger guy worse at tech?
Well, if you haven't figured out who is the voice and the looks of this channel, you haven't been here very long. We know who that is.
I thought I knew stuff, but Hack's got it. Hack knows what he's doing. Gold did our 9521. Thank you for joining us.
All right, I got the link now.
Thank you for watching. We got a new member. Kilted, you're the man. You are the man. Thank you. Yeah, so Hack, I mean, I think we had an epic week in Louisville. Epic weekend. We had a great.
What's next though? What are we doing next?
Right now? What do you mean?
No, like when are we going to get together next? Me and you.
Well, I think we got to come down. I got to come down to Houston again.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about?
What?
Ice balls.
You guys. So we should. And while you're doing this, Hack, we have a really if everyone, if you're like listening to this in the background, just stop and look at us. And hopefully it's not on your TV because that's a problem.
I just emailed you the link to the wheels, though, by the way.
You emailed it.
Yeah.
Hack, tell me what happened.
Yeah. So while you're pulling up the email, so while we were in Louisville, I got up, I checked my email one morning, and I had an email that I thought it was fake. And so I did some fact checking. I put it through ChatGPT and all of this other kind of stuff. But we actually have an email from a legitimate company called eCozy that makes ice balls. And they would like us to review the product. And it's our first ever, I guess you consider, sponsorship opportunity. And, you know, sometimes my balls get hot. I mean, this happens. Like, I live in Houston. It's a swampy area. And, you know, I thought this is a great opportunity, but at the same time, I emailed them back and I told them, there's two of us.
I don't know if people know what ice balls mean.
What? I mean, it's ice and it's balls. What else can it mean? I mean, it's self-explanatory. So anyway, I emailed them back and I said, well, there's actually two of us and we need two of them. We need two ice ball machines. Because I'm not going to roll like that, right?
No.
We got denied.
Oh, they didn't want to give us two.
They want to give us
machines?
two balls. They only want to give us one. So we're rolling around with one ice ball machine. And so yeah, so we have an ice ball machine coming. They said that they wanted to review my video before I released it, and I responded back and I said, that's fine, but expect a very honest, candid, and fun review of your ice ball machine. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do a very fun, candid, and honest review of an ice ball machine, and you can just put, insert jokes here. And this will probably be our last sponsorship ever.
Yeah. So, Hack, how do we make money off of this sponsorship?
Well, so we post, like when we do the review, we post a link, and then if people buy this machine, they'll get $22, or we get $22.
We
per
get
machine.
$22 from them, and the machine is how much?
The machine is $400.
Okay.
So no one's gonna buy
Everyone buy this machine. It's the best machine ever.
But more importantly, though, and this is important for all of our YouTube members, I'm going to do this in Discord so it's not public and all of that. And I don't think eCozy is up right now. They're not in the third hour of Hack and Mac.
No, they're not. They're not the real ones.
They're not the real ones.
I'm already insulting our first. I'm already insulting our first dub.
After I do the review,
Like,
we're going to give the machine away to anyone in our members that wants it. So we're going to spin a wheel or do something at a hangout in our Discord. So we're not going to keep the ice ball machine, but I'm going to give it away. So we're going to get it sponsored. It's going to get sent to me. We're going to do the review. It's going to be kind of funny, and then we're going to give it an ice ball machine away. That's what's going to happen.
That's so awesome. I'm sure it's like awesome. I'm
sure
like,
it's great.
But like, Hack, you and I are just not the ones that are like, we're not pitching. Like we're the worst people to ever be your face of a brand, right? Like, which is so awesome.
Me for sure. Now you're handsome, not me. Like you're handsome. Like
dude, you got
this face only a mother can love, brother. Like,
I just love. We were okay. Can I tell you? We were at Michter's, and Hack's like, I just got to tell you something, and I'm like, what? We just met the master distiller of Michter's, and he's like, just so you know, we got a sponsor. So, and I feel like we have a sponsor, and it's gonna be gone really fast. And
yeah, that's all right.
Why did we send this out? But that's so cool.
But I don't know. We're going to be talking about icing our balls. We're going to be what do you do with that? We're going to be talking about like how do you use the machine properly.
Did they have like specific things that you have to say?
No, they don't script it. Thank God.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I got a free script here. Their mistake. They're bad.
At the same time, I feel like if it's a good product, it's a good product. But at least you guys know we're going to be real, and then someone's going to win this thing, which is fun. Oh my God. Here we go.
Wes says you could sponsor Quilted Northern.
I saw this earlier from, I don't know if it was Wes, but Quilted Northern's legit. Hit me up, Quilted Northern.
All right, spin this wheel. Spin this wheel.
I got it up. Let's do this. All right. We doing one spin? All right. You already
3
shuffled.
spins. The first spin is going to be for this bottle over my shoulder. It is a Russell's Reserve C&E pick. This is an 8-year pick. It is from 2025. And so this is bottle 1. And then we'll do the other 2.
All right, here we go. Thank you all for the chats. Thanks for joining. First spin. I'm loving the 7 Williams, man.
It's good.
Oh, this is such
good luck, everybody.
Whiskey. Good luck. Here we go. We got connoisseur. No, Steve. No, Andy. Bama. Top dog. Oh, Wes. No. It might be Bama.
Dennis would be a home delivery.
Oh, it's Quinn. Oh.
Okay, Quinn, I don't think I have your email.
Oh, wait. Oh, Quinn.
Oh, it is Quinn.
Congrats.
Quinn, reach out to us, hackandmacshow@gmail.com. hackandmacshow@gmail.com so I can get your address. I don't know that Quinn is in our Discord. If you're in the Discord, hit me up in Discord or send me an email, hackandmacshow@gmail.com. All right. The next spin is going to be for all the Caleb. I ordered a 3rd bottle today of Caleb's Crossings. So I'll have 3 bottles of Caleb's Crossing, and then I'll have the Eagle Rare Bird pick. I'll also have the Stag Junior Rare Bird pick. So 5 different samples, and hell, I may throw something fun in like the Beacon. And
I've got, we didn't even get into the Rockin' Tour. I've got both the Rockin' Tours. I got batch 1 and 2. Sorry, is that what we're saying with me too, Hack, or no? Is that
yeah? Go ahead and tell them what your pack will have. Yeah.
I've got 2 different Raconteurs, which is his rye, which we didn't even get into, which is so incredible. I've got batch 1 and 2 of the Caleb's Crossing, Armagnac, dual cask, and then the Burr rye, which I think Hack you have. And then I've got a couple Russell's single barrels. My favorite Russell single barrel, which is getting low, from Tyrone B, which I asked him about, which will be in there too.
Yep. So basically it's either Caleb's Crossing and the picks that we have from David. There'll be one package from me, one from Mac. So 2 different spins. Mac, we'll do mine first. We'll do yours last.
All right, awesome. Here we go. This is for the Hack spin, which I did not even get that stag, which I hear is incredible.
Oh, it's the best stag I've ever had. Best stag junior.
Wait, even the one.
Yeah. Well, batch 18 or whatever.
What about batch 10?
Batch 10's good too.
Yeah, I gave you that.
I know.
Oh, Warren, Kevin, Rob D, Chris. Chaos.
I think that's a local delivery for me.
Oh, Caleb. Oh, it's Caleb.
Oh, Caleb. This is not the Caleb I know, I don't think. This is a different
Who
Caleb.
is this?
So, Caleb, email us, hackandmacshow@gmail.com. Or if you're in the Discord, hit me up. Either one. I'm going to have to get your info.
Y'all have to email us. All right. Here we go. This is for my my samples here, which is going to come with Russell single barrel, Caleb Crossing, Raconteur. Some good stuff from David. Y'all got to check out Rarebird 101.
Thank you guys for all the super chats, man. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, is it Brad? Or is it Warren?
Maybe Lance. Maybe Dave V.
Oh, it's Davey. Dave,
I got you, buddy. Our man Dave Vogelsang, long time supporter.
I got you, buddy.
Love me some Dave.
Man, I got you, buddy. I was just sipping your sample of that single barrel from Green River Weeder, man. Thank you.
All right, man. I need to use a bathroom.
Okay.
Not that I need to make that public, but I did. All right, listen, y'all. This has been amazing. David Jennings, Rarebird 101 was on our channel, Mac.
Yeah. That was huge. That was one of those where, I've been drinking whiskey for a bit, but I always followed him, and then we started this. And the guy, by the way, even before, not that we have anything that's of impressive stature at all. Hack and I are still very early on in this, but the guy will answer your questions if you're in a store and I'm like, hey, what is this barcode? And that is just, he loves the game, man. And he cares about it. And he cares about his Patreon. So hit up Rarebird 101. That is his Discord and his blog. So
yeah. And I apologize to you, Mac. I got a little excited with my questions. I apologize. I was so
My apologies.
I love super excited with the questions. But I tell you what, man, I love doing this with you, brother. And great, whiskey should be fun, y'all. It's been fun tonight.
Yes.
Mac, you got to play the outro.
I'm going to play the outro. I don't know how to do that. I think I click in stream and then there's something I can click.
I think so. If not, it's just going to end either way.
And then we will see the members in the Discord, right?
Hashtag one more pour.
And then if people are not members, they can be members. How?
There's a join button right in the center of our YouTube. You click join. And then once you join, you can get a Discord link and a YouTube post. Sounds like my YouTube post expired, which I screwed up. So I'll get a new one posted. And if anybody that is in Discord is connected to me, hit me up. I'll shoot you a link and we'll get that squared away. Again, it's going to be fun. We've got some fun stuff coming on our channel too. I'm not ready to talk about it tonight, but we got some really cool stuff we're going to do in our Discord. So you guys are going to want to be in there hanging out.
And the referee's picks.
And that too.
That's all you need to say. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the Discord. Peace. It's that outro video. Everyone just chill. Here we go. I gotta pick everyone cheer and just go ahead and sip your. Here we go. Boom. Cheers. In stream. I think I did it.
So for all the people that came here tonight,
Yeah, cheers. Man.
everybody in the room,
Yeah, cheers.
hey, this YouTube thing has been fun, but
Yeah.
it's way more fun hanging out with
Yeah,
you.
cheers,
And
y'all.
we appreciate everybody. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
Damn, that's good.
oh, the rye is so good.
Damn, that's good.
Oh,
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers,
one more
y'all.
pour. Have
More
one
pour,
more
y'all.
pour
Have
with
one more
somebody
pour.
you love, because you never know when it's that last pour.
That's true, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Buddy.
Good night, y'all. Have a good night.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts.